We're gonna restore the Roman Empire as Byzantium by crushing the Ottomans in 4 years, conquering all of Anatolia, Balkans, and North Africa in 20 years, and restoring the long-lost Roman culture to the entirety of the empire. This is my complete EU4 Byzantium run for 1.37 before EU5 is out. And if you'd like me to do any other nations before EU5 is out, let me know in the comment section what you'd like me to cover, and make sure to subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like these in the future. Guys, pay close attention to these very important first steps, because some things have changed in the 1.37 Europa Universalis 4 patch. Paradox for some reason decided that the Byzantium is too easy, so they've made it a little bit more difficult now compared to previous patches. We still have the initial horrible privileges such as the Union of the Churches, deteriorating army, which means we start with the minus 15% morale of armies, but we're actually going to make these privileges work for us because exemption from Latin merchants makes mercenaries 25% cheaper. Now mix that in with the Union of the Churches, which after we do impending doom, if we have an alliance with the Pope, is going to give another 15% mercenary cost reduction for 15 years. It means that our mercenaries are going to be 40% cheaper, and we can make them another 10% cheaper from quickly doing defense in depth mission. Now the only privileges we'll be giving out are the monthly admin power +1, military power +1. We're not giving the Diplo because we want to instead get the sale of titles for 161 ducats, seize crownlands afterwards, some of the diet, and we're also giving increased levies for the extra manpower, Euhonius officer rights. Getting this decision enacted means we have a chance of getting a 3 pips siege general if we alt F4 enough times. Seeing as we're really desperate as the Byzantines, we're also going to give out Emporoi draft force, which allows us to get via decisions 1 early Karak 50% the time, so it's going to be built in time for the war with the Ottomans, and it's going to be free. We just need to get 40 influence with the trading league or Emporoi. We're also giving supremacy over the crown to try and bring the loyalty equilibrium above 50% for our states, and for that matter we're going to be giving out religious diplomats, clerical ministers, and clerical advisory council, but we're going to give this one out after we get 100 admins, since we really want to push for 1 stability, and giving a clerical advisory council before that means we increase the price of getting that stability by 10%. We're going to give 1 more privilege, namely patronage of the arts, but we're going to do that in a few moments. First, what we need to do is use up the starting prestige to get good relations with the Pope, because remember, we got to get that alliance with them. We're going to be sending a cheeky, scornful insult, which increases our relations with the Pope by 25, getting us way closer to getting the alliance with them. All we need to do now is just recruit a few more units, and then we should be okay. Same thing here, because we want to ally the Serbs. We are very close to that. We just need to scornfully insult one of their rivals. In that case, it's going to be the Wallachians. I love you, Wallachia, but it's got to be done since we really need the Serbs on our side. Remember, so we get the 250 ducats from the Serbs. It is a little bit RNG, so keep that in mind. We pretty much got the worst case scenario for a Byzantine start, because the Albanians don't want to ally us since we allied their rivals, the Serbs, and the Teutons also. So we'll try and get relations with both of these nations and ally them. However, if that doesn't work, we will just 1v1 the Ottomans, and we're going to be sending our units to Corinth. Now, of course, we'll be recruiting the Free Company, and we also have the unique Palace Guards. Now, these units are only available to the Byzantines, and they cost no force limit to maintain. Now, seeing as we have below 0 prestige, we actually get 20 prestige from the patronage of the arts, and we're going to use a little bit of that to scornfully insult the Karamanids, which we made our rivals. We do that because it gives us 10 power projection, and power projection also increases our morale of armies a little bit, up to 10%. There you go, boys. I was exactly spot on. 49-42, meaning we can ally the Pope. We now get the 15% mercenary cost reduction for 15 years, which is exactly what we need, because after 15 years we will have gotten rid of the privilege anyway. All right, boys, first target is going to be the Epirate scum, and let's see what the gods of Shkibidi give us. Holy shit, that actually is a really good general. 1-star general still, but he does have 2 siege, 1 shock. He's not the worst, not the best, really. Come on. Let's also make our leader a general, because I wouldn't mind if he dies. In fact, even the heir doesn't mind much if he dies. They're pretty horrible, to be fair. And let's also check if there's any generals amongst the mercenary companies. Sometimes you can find some jewels amongst these mercenary companies, like the Morlock. The Morlock has 3 siege, 4 shock. That is huge. I'm gonna get some galleys, because we're gonna need as many galleys as we possibly can get our hands on in order to fight the Ottomans. Now, we might be able to use some other nations on the war against the Ottomans, namely the Trebizond, even Georgia. If we get our hands on Georgia, that would be optimal because Georgia is going to make it a little bit more difficult for the Ottomans, and the Ottomans might focus on the Georgians, which have some seriously good forts, so it might delay the Ottomans from coming into our side, which is exactly what we want. That delay makes a difference between winning and losing in this game. Epirus has fallen. Depending on what we do with the Epirus, we get two different outcomes from the false despot mission. We can either get morale of armies and navies plus 5 and 10%, or we get a core in Cephalonia and more permanent claims on the southern tip of Italy as well as Sicily. Whilst the morale of armies would be really good for us right now, the claims are not bad, but more importantly, we can also retain the fleet that the Epirates have with this option, and by retaining said fleet, we might be able to even use the fleet in the war against the Ottomans afterwards. Plus, we can also give the strong duchies privilege, which gives 2 extra diplomatic relations and liberty, desire, and subjects reduction. Let's go false despots. We also got some diplo powers, so that's not too bad overall. Courage development here, boom and boom, and now we can do the reinforced Constantinople mission. Also, I want to point out we have a little bit of devastation because the knights have been raiding us, and that prevents us from allying them now because we have minus 105 relations with them. Now, it does seem like we can get an alliance with the Georgians, so let's go for that. Let's also get the +1 stability, and let's see what the Serbs will do for us. I'm going to request that they give us 250 ducats. Now, to get this, you need at least 150 opinion. I'm saying this because previously in my old Byzantine video, people asked me how come they didn't get the ducats. You need at least 150 opinion and have them as ally attitude, which means ally them basically. Let's go ahead and ask. Hopefully they give us. Again, it's RNG, end of the day. The game files tell me that 150 opinion and ally stance has like a 80% chance of getting the money from the Serbs. Now we're going to be recruiting some more mercenaries. The Hajduk and the Morlocks are really good options. That should be enough for the initial phase. We might need to recruit more and replace mercenaries as they get grinded down by the Ottoman army though. And would you look at that, we got the 250 ducats from the Serbs. We allied Trebizond, which apparently is the only nation that's willing to help us in this war. And make sure you set a reconquest CB, not a conquest CB. Don't get baited for that, because that's a lot more aggressive expansion. We don't want that to happen. We're gonna make Tirhala as the war target, as it is the easiest province for us to conquer. Rush for Tirhala, rush for Selanik, and wait for the Ottomans to attack us basically. We're gonna play it a little bit on the defense. As long as we keep our units close together, it's less likely that the Ottomans are actually gonna push in until they have a bigger blob. So the tactic is to just keep your units as tied up as you possibly can, take the fort in Selanik, and wait for your fleet to get the other ships recruited. Right now we are outnumbered by the Ottomans. We're gonna allow other units to attach to us, and hopefully the Athenians will attach their fleet to us, as well as maybe the Epirates once they become loyal. Actually, are they loyal? They are loyal. Oh, that is actually really nice, boys. So let's make sure they have attach as their interaction. And actually, with the Epirates and the Athenians, we are one-on-one with the Ottoman fleet. I'm also gonna get the land force limit modifier advisor. I don't have any morale of armies or discipline advisor. That would have been perfect actually. But again, RNG giveth, RNG taketh. We're gonna get the morale advisor later in order to do the decision that would allow us to get rid of the army debuff privilege here that gives minus 15 morale of armies. I've also hired an admiral, and I'm gonna send my ships over to the Aegean Sea. Hopefully the Ottomans don't sally out until my troops all merge together, which I think is gonna happen in a few moments. There you go, we got everybody in the same sea tile. So that's awesome, because now we should be able to take the fort in Selanik a little bit faster, and we got the war target. Now let's merge all of our units in Selanik, because the Ottomans have started crossing over here. Their main army is sieging down Constantinople. They have 30,000, so that means there's 7,000 unaccounted for, which also means that we actually can stack wipe this army. If they come over to Tirhala, we're gonna bring our units from the north into Tirhala and flat out stack wipe them. And that freaking broke it. Oh my god, this is actually freaking insane RNG. Please fall. Word has reached Ioannis VIII and the citizens of Constantinople. The Sultan Mehmed II Fatih has begun his march on the city. Yeah, no schnapps, bro. He's already here. I'm gonna get the morale of armies. I know the stability is really awesome, but the morale of armies is actually necessary for us right now. Our current morale of armies is at 6.7%. Oh, it is a trap, Otter Bros. We gotta wait till they got movement lock. They got it. Let's push in here. Oh, I caught you good, Otto, bro. I caught you real good, buddy boy. All right, look at that morale difference. That is freaking huge, brother. But look, we also got 3.4 army tradition and some prestige. We're going to be pushing up our prestige, our army tradition, so that we will match their morale of armies, or at least get close to it. Giovanni Giustiniani, one of the more famous generals from the siege of Constantinople. He was a Genoese captain from the Genoese garrison in Constantinople, which helped the Byzantines alongside the few hundred Genoese soldiers that fought in the defense against the Ottomans. In the game, he's portrayed as a 2230 general, and he gives us a bit of manpower too, which is actually duly needed. Giovanni is apparently an 18-year-old, but in reality, he was 35 at the time of the siege. He passed away on the 1st of June from wounds inflicted in battle on the 29th of May, and most of the 700 Genoese soldiers also perished in the siege of Constantinople. Their sacrifice has gone down in history as one of the greatest calls to aid. It's honestly where Tolkien probably got his whole Gondor calls for aid, will Rohan answer moment from. I'm just guessing, it's probably not, but I like to think it is. Okay, this is huge because we really need some patriarchal authority. Admin power is great, but patriarchal authority is really important. If we manage to get 10 patriarchal authority, that means just by 6 more, then we're going to be able to do one mission that allows us to get double the bonuses from the icon. So that means we would get discipline plus 10%, which would be actually insane in fighting against the Ottomans. They are basically drained of manpower now and only have 27,000 units, so that's perfect. Also, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but I'm smiling when I'm playing as Byzantium because I haven't really played EU4 in like a few months properly, and this has been by far my most favorite campaign so far since I came back to EU4. There you go, 193 days. That is god tier RNG, and it's also why I actually plan to do this campaign all the way to 1836. This is going to be the last time I play EU4 Byzantium, so I really want to make this into a special campaign. Of course, the save game is going to be available to all of you guys for free on Discord, and I'm going to split this in 5 parts, keep the videos a little bit longer so you get a better understanding of my thought process and what exactly is happening in my particular game. And in case you want to follow along, you can do that, of course. Reality, guys, is that EU5 is around the corner. It really is, and it's likely going to get released end of 2025 or beginning of 2026, depending on when they flesh out some bugs. So I don't expect to come back to EU4 Byzantium, which is why I'm trying to make the most out of this campaign. I love this nation and I love this game. The Trebizonds actually managed to bait some of the Ottoman troops. That is perfect. That means half of the Ottomans are over there fighting, so we can take that time and wipe out the rest of the Ottomans here. 10 patriarchal authority. We can get the discipline. This is literally a blessed run. Come on, guys. Oh my god. So we now have 10% discipline for our troops. The problem is I forgot to give the religious culture privilege, so I kind of lost 5 crown right there. 5% crownlets. It's fine. Mistakes are made. It's fine. I just got a little bit too excited, to be fair. All right, let's see our ticks here. So we got 7-5. I'm taking a good look, making sure that nobody's coming over from the Coachella side, and I'm gonna sally out with my garrison as well. We got a 2. Come on, give me something better than a 2, please. They got a 0 at the end. I saw it. I freaking saw the 0. Sallying out with that garrison literally saved the day for us. Now let's try and take Gelibolu. We're gonna bring all of our ships here. Every one of our vassals is attached to us, so we technically have enough ships to hold off the Ottomans, and in a few months we're also gonna get the galleys done. Hey, Western support. I love to see that. See, this is why I did not revoke Union of the Churches. Early in the first few years, Union of the Churches is actually really good. Now, whilst the Ottomans are regrouping in the east, I'm gonna take this time and I'm gonna be carpet sieging all of the Balkans. Shout out to Trebizond. Look at this. It forced the Ottomans to bring 11,000 of their troops. Ottomans are just extremely broken in this game, and unless you defeat them as the Byzantines in the first few years, it's pretty much impossible afterwards. And hey, Western support gives us some ducats. I'll take that, thank you very much. If you're wondering why I'm keeping all my mercs in this tile and I'm not trying to take a Deern, it's because if I do move any units from here, the balance of power is going to be scaled on the side of the Ottomans, and they're going to push with those 9,000 units they got there. If we pay 150 military power, we get siege ability plus 10% for 10 years. Yes, thank you very much. And we also also started getting a spy network in the Ottomans to help us with the siege ability, as well as we're going to improve with the Venetians, so we get that 50 relations required with either Venice or Genoa. Look at that, we also managed to crack the walls and we're up to 21%. Come on, we really need to take Gelibolu. Please fall Gelibolu. Come on, 57%, you freaking have to fall, you schnappledorp. There you go. They did recruit some extra soldiers, so I have to be extremely careful now. As long as we hold on to the Sea of Marmara, we should be fine when it comes down to the war score. Now, considering how well the war's been going, I'm going to be deleting the fort in Moria. I don't think that the Ottomans are going to end up coming into the Balkan side. I hope not anyway. And that fort has been just a drain on my economy. I should have deleted that fort from day one. Come on, we have to win this. It is absolutely imperative. Oh, okay, fine. We won, boys. Let's actually bring the Chadicus 3 Siegicus general here first, so we can quickly take Edirne, their capital, by the way. Previously known as the city of Adrianopolis, it was one of the earliest big cities occupied by the Ottomans after the earthquake destroyed the castles in Gallipoli, which allowed the Ottomans to move into the Balkan side of the Byzantine Empire. All right, we got the siege of Edirne done, so now we got quite a bit of war score. Just realized we should have liberated Bulgaria. I forgot to liberate Bulgaria before the war. I did that in my previous Byzantine video. I don't know why I forgot this time. Oh, right, because I didn't get the galley yet. That was why. They are almost winning against 3 times the army size. That is crazy to see. That is insane how overpowered the Ottomans are, honestly. Now, if we take Kocaeli, we should have the war score we need, actually. Because by the time we take Kocaeli, we should get the 17% war score more from having taken Tirhala, or at least 10% more or so. I am basically always keeping an eye on the units that are sieging down Trebizond. As long as they stay there, we should be fine. We should be able to hold off any other units the Ottomans might have around here. Hey, even more Western support from the Union of the Churches. I'm loving it. And by sieging down Huda Vendigar, we're able to crush what's left of the Ottomans. That were the Ottoman fleet that was hiding in Huda Vendigar. Also going to use this army to siege down whatever other provinces I can around here. Actually, let's go for Kütahya next, since it's not in the zone of control of any forts. Oh, this is just unfortunate. I cannot go for the army professionalism. That would increase the maintenance of mercenaries by way too much, so I'm going to have to lose the prestige here, unfortunately. Hey, we got the last jousting tournament. Let's go. Oh, that is so freaking glorious. And we also got all of our ships, so we can basically not need to worry about any sort of naval engagement with the Ottomans from now on. Please fall at 42%. Please. Oh, come on. Why do you have to keep going to 56? What is wrong with you freaking sieges, bro? All right, that did fall at 57% though, so there's that. And they are recruiting the Free Company, which is arriving in Huda Vendigar on the 1st of April. So let's time this properly, because we might be able to wipe out this army since it has no morale if we wait until they get movement locked. Come on, one day, come on. There you go. That should be fine. Hopefully they don't back up from that. Oh, they did back up. Well, screw you. I'm going to push into you then. Make sure we bring the rest of the troops just in case they do reinforce with the other 12,000. How many they got now? 36. They're going super high in force limit to be able to fight me. We did wipe out those troops. And that is the first loan we took, by the way. That is genuinely the first loan we took this entire playthrough. If we wipe out this army, though, then we pretty much are set. If we wipe out this army, we can enforce whatever we want. We would be close to 80 something percent, so they would give us the war deal that we want. Come on, give me some good dice rolls. We started with the 0. That is not a good dice roll. Not amazing, but we still won. Morale of armies plus 10% only affects mercenary regiments. Oh my god! Ottomans ceased paying tribute. So this is a tribute the Ottomans were paying to the Byzantines in exchange for the Byzantines holding on to Orhan Çelebi. The Sultan had an agreement with the Byzantines where they would keep Orhan Çelebi in the capital, as he was a pretender to the throne of the Ottoman Empire. Historically, Orhan Çelebi actually fought on the side of the Byzantines during the siege of Constantinople and perished in the siege itself. One of actually many Turkish soldiers and Turksmen basically fighting on the side of the Byzantines during that period, which goes to show that it wasn't necessarily a clear line of nationality and ethnicity back in the 1400s as there was later down in history, and it was more an issue of allegiances than anything else when it came to which nation you belong to. I'm not gonna actually betray Orhan. I'm gonna keep him in Constantinople just for the symbolic reason that he was a Chad and he fought on the side of the Byzantines. Now we could have waited until Sugla is finished sieging, but I'm not gonna do that. Instead, what I'm gonna do is I am going to do my peace deal. I'm gonna take everything that's on the coastline here, as well as much money as I possibly can take. I'm actually close to 100%. It's not so bad. Coalition is only the Ottomans and Karaman, as you would expect, and with this particular amount of money, we're gonna going to be able to start the war again. How are we going to do that? Well, you'll see in a few seconds here. Now, before we do anything else, we can do a few missions here, including reverse the downfall, which is going to give flames on the Balkans, ducats, manpower, and we get the event reverse, or better yet, recovery of Greece, which gives monthly war exhaustion reduction, a diplomatic reputation, and 25 power projection. And I'm also going to make this safe here. As you guys can see, there's no cheeses, nothing of the sorts. It's an Iron Man game, of course, and if you want to continue this, you can obviously continue it yourself from 1448. Again, save will be on Discord if you're interested. I will be making some more save games available as bookmarks as I progress in the campaign, but I'll put those on my Patreon just to give a little bit of incentive for people to want to become a patron. It really would help out the channel massively. It is basically my main source of income because, you know, YouTube ads revenue is extremely bad in the past year or so. So I really want to take this opportunity to also give a big shout out to all my patrons and channel members, and as a reward, I'm going to be naming from now on all my generals my patrons. Let's pay off those 2 loans we got, and there you go. 4 forts that we got for maintenance. We're going to be deleting these forts, but not just yet. Now, I know what some of you thinking, Ludi, why didn't you just do the cheese where you let them keep Macedonia and Adrianopolis so they have their capital in the Balkans, and then you can attack them and easily take Adrianopolis and just have a super easy war? I could have done that, but where's the fun in that? Again, this is my last Byzantine run. I want to actually have fun and a little bit of an extra challenge when I'm playing this. We can release Bulgaria in the province of Mesambria, and then we can just flat out don't give a shit about AE and just attack the Ottomans, breaking the truce, getting the 5 stability hit, and getting a bit of a coalition started, but in exchange also getting all of the Balkans. Now, if I was going to go for this option, I would have kept Adrianopolis because that would have made it super easy for me though. Now we can do repair of the army right now. Actually, we just need a level 2 advisor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hire temporarily Pietro Asan, which is enough. There you go. Repair the army, got rid of the horrible privilege. We are going to be on par with the Ottomans. Once they increase their land maintenance, it should be roughly around the same amount. We also can now make the Ottomans a rival. I left the 3rd slot open just because I knew that I'd be able to make them a rival afterwards, and because they lost a lot of land, they will be disbanding some of their soldiers. There you go. They already went down to 18, 17, 16. We also got the renaming of Nicomedia to Optimatoi. That is so cool. All right, let's go. Almost ready. Just gotta wait for a few more days here. And we also need to plan a couple more wars. We're gonna be attacking the Venetians, of course, to get all of the islands from them, as well as we want to attack Karaman. Now, seeing as Karaman is actually getting their asses handed by Ramazan for some reason, I'm gonna do a cheesy thing. I'm gonna use the Humiliate Rival War CB against them, just so I get 100 of each mana points, and so I do my age ability of humiliating a rival at the same time. We also got the claim on Ragusa. Let's go ahead and attack them. We're gonna rush for their capital in Mentese and just try and get the war score as soon as possible. Hey, Orhan Chalebi comes to the aid, boys. We get 2,000 manpower from Chadikas Orhanikas. Now let's see what a battle against the Ottoman looks like when we actually don't have those initial debuffs, right? There you go. That is going to be a clear win against the Ottobroskis. Now, this is the issue with keeping the union of the churches. We're going to get a lot of rebels like these until we get rid of the privilege. So in order to get rid of it, we have to have 5 temples and loyalty for the clericoi above 60. I did notice, though, that Ragusa is at war with Venice. That means the Venetians might help me get an easy war against the Papal States and peace out the Papal States ASAP. All right, we got the siege of Karaman. Let's go with the show of strength. Let's see how close we are to piecing out the Ottomans too. Actually, not too bad. You know what? I'll do that. 57. We have 7 years before we attack them again. That's fine with me. That should give us enough time to fix our economical situation and also expand a little bit more in the Balkans. And it also looks like we are the first to go for military tech forward. So this is genuinely a blessed run. A clear, beautiful kiss to this amazing Byzantine nation that I've had so many great memories playing as them in the past 10 years plus. But I just realized I did not give expansion as zealotry. What the hell is wrong with me? Why did I not give that? I've been making my life so much harder. Holy snap. It really shows that I haven't played EU4 in quite some time now. But I'm really enjoying getting back into it though. I'm curious if the Venetians are sieging down. They are sieging down the Pope. Our High Duke mercenary company is actually running out of juice right now. Actually, most of them are running out of juice. So we might have to start switching over to the regular troops and deleting some of the mercenary units. To be fair though, mercenaries are still super cheap for us. So maybe I don't need to do that. Maybe I'm just going to get more mercenaries. Bye-bye, High Dukes. I love you. So thanks to our friends in Venice for sieging down the Papal States, and to our fleet states blockading the Papal States on both sides, we got enough pull to make the Pope decide that they want to give up, and we also can now do something very cheap. Being in a defensive war means we do not need to worry about fighting the allies of the Venetians. There you go, we took leadership, and also we're now allied to the Pope again. And we got anti-unionist revolts, of course we do. I also kept Ragusa as a subject here because Ragusa actually has 7% of the trade node here. Considering it is a one province smiter, it's not too bad. So they're a decent trade vassal early in the campaign until we need to actually integrate them. I was like 50-50 on should I annex them, should I keep them as a vassal, but then I realized that if I was to attack afterwards the Venetians in a separate war, I'd have to fight all of these OPMs that I'm not in the mood to fight right now. I love how this particular war, the brunt of the war is being taken on by the Papal States, who surprisingly did not peace out yet. Like, how did they not yet peace out, bro? Also, I think I'm gonna be taking the Teutonic Knights out because they are a little bit of a pain in my ass, and I'm not sure, but I might be getting a mission done by grabbing all of the Aegean islands too. Hey, we got Rhodes. Nice. Let's see if we can piece them out. We can! Oh, snaps. That's awesome. So we do that as a separate piece because that means these units are going to become separatists now. So hopefully they're going to be fighting the Venetians, and that's just 5,000 units I have to worry less about. There you go. We got Treviso. Kind of do want Spalato and Zara also in this war since it is a defensive war, so it's less aggressive expansion, which is why I'm going to hold on a little bit longer, and I'm going to maybe take the fort in Brescia before I piece them out. Hey, Admin Tech 4, finally. Oh, this is so good. So that means we can now start building those churches. We just need money for them. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to take the Indebted to the Burghers Guild because I don't have any slots for that. Oh, no. I got to take Albania since that gives me access to Serbia, Bosnia, and so on afterwards. And we've managed to take Brescia. Orthodox defectors give us a core. Probably should cut out that bit because that's going to get me demonetized just for saying the first part of that word on freaking YouTube. We can get all the provinces the Venetians have in the Balkans now, including a little bit of extra moolah on the side. Coalition-wise, it is really just the Venetian, so we don't need to give a single schnapps about it. And we can do another mission, apparently. The Peloponnese Renaissance. 30 development in own provinces within the area of Mare. Oh, we get 90 support for Renaissance in the entirety state of Mare. That is huge. After I finish lowering the devastation in Corfu, I'm going to delete the fortification here. I really don't need this, but having a fort lowers devastation 10 times faster, which is why I'm keeping it temporarily until that's done. I'm starting to get really big issues here with the Unionist rebels, so I think I'm going to take some actual loans and build those churches. It is really, really vital that we do that. Sadly, these are 4% loans, so they're very painful. Let's go ahead and get 1, 2, 3. We need one more. And the last church. There you go. That should be 5 churches now. I'm going to give the Eugenes integration policy so that I don't take the Diplostab hit when I annex my vassals, because I am going to, of course, be annexing Athens in a month since we have the cores on here. That means we only have 3 subjects left. Also, seeing as we are at peace for the first time since the start of the campaign, we should also lower the autonomy in our provinces. Another day, another war against Otto Bros. We're going to make Sofia a war target. We're going to feed our little vassal in Bulgaria all the cores, as well as we'll call in Georgia. Why not? We can use them as our punching bag. Akoyunlu's not joining, but I'm going to co-belligerate Karakoyunlu though, which essentially means we're going to be fighting the entirety of Anatolia here, more or less, with the exception of Karaman and Ramazan that have been reduced to OPMs, so this should be really fun. Hey there, buddy. What you doing over there, little Otto Broski? You got your whole army trapped in the province of Tulcha? Aw, who's a little good boy? It's not you. You're freaking horrible. You're gonna get punished, you scumbag. Die, ya freaking Schnitzeldorf. Die right now, I say. Oh my god, more Unionists. Okay, I'm gonna cancel that freaking privilege next. Actually, I can cancel the privilege right now, right? Yep, and the Union of the Churches. Bye-bye, favoritism for Latin scum. And that's actually the end of the Ottoman army. GG's Ottoman, you had a good one, but it's over. I'm the captain now, eh? Looks like our beloved leader has passed away, and we don't have one stability anymore. That's kind of unfortunate. Couple that up with the fact that we're getting rebels on top of rebels, and it's starting to look bad. It's starting to look like the good old Roman Empire. It's just classic Roman Empire right now. Okay, now see this? The Morlocks have 0 units and 115 men in reserve. The Morlocks are not useful anymore. In fact, a lot of these mercenaries are not useful anymore. I'm gonna disband them, and I'm gonna get some actual units. I'm talking talking real humans here, regular infantry for the first time in hundreds of years, and maybe even get some more mercenaries. Actually, we probably could use the Grand Company. Oh, I was right. Georgia is the punching bag of the Ottoman Alliance. But you know what? They're actually doing pretty good here. We might be able to even peace out Gazi Comuns if they don't get their asses handed to them by the Ottomans. Yeah, no, that's it's GG's for the Georgians. Hey, we can integrate Galata now, which is going to give us 3 base tax and 1 base production in Constantinople. We got our very first reform. We can do a reform the pronoia system, which allows us to create client states and increases the amount of pronoias by 2. Now, you might be wondering, Ludi, what is a pronoia? So a pronoia is a unique type of subject only the Byzantines have. We can land a pronoia, for example, in Bulgaria. What this does is a few things. First off, pronoiars cost no diplo slots, and they have some massive bonuses illustrated over here. Plus, a pronoia can be integrated or incorporated, better yet, when the leader dies. We'll get into that a little bit more after, and probably in the second part of the campaign, when I'm going to basically be abusing the schnapps out of this. I mean, we can do this now. We can make the Bulgarians a pronoiar, and we can retract the right to inheritance, which in turn means that we will be integrating Bulgaria whenever the leader of their country dies. And holy shit, they got a 646. That is crazy. This was the final battle for the conquest of Anatolia. Now we have to turn our eyes and wipe out the rebels, because we do have a ton of rebels, unfortunately, and that might be the end of us if we don't play our cards right. Let's see how much they got. They got 50% towards enforcing. We really got to get rid of the rebels now. Also, I am going to be fully annexing Dulkadir. I could go for the whole, oh, feed back the cores, blah, 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 blah. But the truth is, I just want to wipe out all of Dulkadir so I have a border afterwards with the Mamelukes, the Karakoyunlus, and everybody else here, because I will be munching into all of those rightful Roman lands. We will, of course, be concentrating development in these areas before we core them up. We're going to get a bit of a shorter truce here with Chandar, because we want to peace out the Ottomans. We don't want to have to fight the rebels of the Ottomans. We want to just reap the benefits here. There you go. That is the entirety of the Balkan possessions that the Ottomans have. Plus, we're also taking all the money that we possibly can take from them too, and we can do more missions as consequence. Reconquest of Bulgaria will make Bulgarians an accepted culture, and we also get a Chadic as general and a modifier for New Constantinople in Tarnovo. That should be over here. That is genuinely pretty fun. Once we lower the devastation, this is going to be truly a New Constantinople. Now, with that mission done, we get more claims on Moldova and Wallachia next, because we've basically been dodging between attacking Muslims, attacking Catholics, and now attacking Orthodox. We don't really have that much aggressive expansion. So we're going to be attacking Wallachia and Herzegovina, and then Bosnia, Serbia, and we're basically not going to have any actual coalition against us. So by the time that the truce is over with the Ottomans, we can attack them again, recycle again and again. In the meanwhile, I'm just going to be attacking... Oh, actually, I can attack the Ottomans ASAP because they're guaranteeing Ramazan. There you go, boys. Exactly my point. It is so easy to get rid of the Ottomans as the Byzantines early in the campaign. And we also instantly integrated Epirus because we had a core on Epirus on Cephalonia from the mission. We can do Triumph for Greece, so we ended up with 89 army tradition, hot diggity dong. So we've also been improving secretly relations with everyone in Europe, and I'm gonna get some alliances here, including an alliance with the French after they finish their war with the English, and an alliance with the Russians, the Muscovites. Now this also leads to the mission here, curb Russian autocephaly. Basically, diplo annexing any Orthodox country will no longer incur diplo reputation penalty. That is freaking huge. Not to mention we get opinion with every Orthodox country, and we also get patriarchal authority and some bonuses for the privileges. It is just juicy. I love this mission tree. It's like so well thought out and so flavorful. We can quite easily make a diplo vassal out of Theodore and a few of the other nations around us, so we might as well use some of the other diplo slots to do that then. Hey, we can cancel reliance on the republics now since we have more than 8 home ports, so we only got to get rid of tax exemption from Latin merchants now. Oh, and check it out. The Ottomans have 5 units with 1,000 manpower. Oh, come on. Really, Ottos? You're really not going to join on the side of Ramazan? You actual scumbags. Looks like Ottomans are not a trustworthy ally, guys. I knew it all along. 1 month has passed, so we can attack now Wallachia with Herzegovina. And looks like Serbia is getting attacked. What? No, Hungary's attacking my ally Serbia. That is actually not good. They're actually attacking Bosnia and their ally to Serbia. This is going to be... Well, actually, no, it's not so bad because we have Matias Hunyadi. That means that they're not going to become a junior partner of the Austrians. So that's going to make it easier for for me to get a hold of Hungary. Don't really need all of Hungary. I just need the Pannonian parts of Hungary and all of the Balkan bits. Oh, boys, look at this. Oh, this is huge. We get the reformed Byzantine monarchy, tier 1 government reform, getting rid of the old Byzantine autocracy. Gives us years of separatism reduction, culture conversion cost reduction, autonomy change, absolutism. It is just amazing. We do a little bit of spring cleaning over here, boys. I really could just make the Wallachians a vassal, but I don't want to. I've got enough aggressive expansion points, so check it out. Literally nobody cares about me annexing all of Wallachia right now, since this is pretty much one of the first times I actually annex Orthodox lands for that matter. We are going to be concentrating it because it is a pretty big state, and we're going to be coring the schnapps out of it. Where we're up to 78 overextension. We pretty much got the entirety of the Balkans with a couple exceptions, which we're going to get in a quick war against the Hungarians, and in a couple of years when the truce is over with the Ottomans, we take whatever is left of the Anatolian part. So for the next years, we're just going to be chilling, and we're going to be improving our economic situation, paying off those loans we got, and more importantly, we're going to be diplo-vassalizing some Italian nations for the memes. There you go. After getting that alliance and the royal marriage, we actually can diplo-vassalize. Now, you guys probably also noticed that I've got a bit of a different camera. I've got a little bit of a different setup now, and I'm using no background. However, I'm only covering the outline of the mini map. I made sure of that, so you're not missing out on anything, okay? You're just not seeing the mini map behind me, and that's it. But I am curious what you guys think about this. I know a lot of people like the green screen more. It's just it's a little bit of an issue getting the green screen for me right now, unfortunately. Now, we can actually end Latin favoritism, which will get rid of the tax exemption for Latin merchants from our nation. It is going to give us some pretty serious debuffs for 30 years, but honestly, the sooner you get this, the better. Enacting this decision is akin to us having to stop using mercenaries, or they're just going to be very expensive. Let me put this into perspective. Calicius Maximus, no more Latin favoritism. So in order to make sure that I don't have these mercenary companies, what I'm going to do is I'm going to recruit irregular units, and I'm just going to use these mercenaries to get rid of my rebels. I will have quite a few rebels spawning in the next few months, so using the mercenaries to wipe out the rebels is a good way of not wasting my manpower pool. There you go. The Levants are doing a really good job. All by themselves, they managed to wipe out those Serbian scum. Let's see if the Free Company is going to be equally amazing. Kind of doubt that, but let's... No, I'm wrong. Well, to be fair, it does help that we have 4.8 morale of armies, which is actually pretty huge. And now we're also very close to getting a diplo-vassalization in Italy, Bologna being the first province that we will be reconquering in the name of Rome on the Italian continent, and it's going to be done all through friendly words. That's it. Let's also make sure we retract the right to inheritance for Mr. Zimisces. It did piss him off a little bit, but their liberty desire is still significantly lower because we gave them back a lot of provinces in the war against the Ottomans. The first Age of Discovery ability that we're going to be going for is Justified War, which is going to make it significantly cheaper for us to take provinces. 10% aggressive expansion reduction is huge. And seeing as Karakoyunlu looks like they want to really be my friends, they have a friendly attitude towards me, I'm going to ally them just because I might be able to call them into the war against the Mamelukes, making it a little bit quicker to fight the Mamelukes. Or even if I'm not able to get them in the Mameluk war, at the very least they get less aggressive expansion with me after I take massive swathes of the Mameluk areas. It would appear we've outshined the Genoese, so we can get a new rival. Obviously that's going to be the Mameluk Sultanate. Funny how in the Middle Ages all it took was to disagree with somebody and you would have your head chopped off, isn't it? I guess you could say that it's amazing we live in today's age and not back in the Middle Ages, isn't it? I'm also going to be selling some of my titles here because I can basically get back most of that. We're up to 19.392, so if we just develop a few times, we should be up to 20%. And the extra money we took, we can just pay off one of our loans that was 4%. I know what you're thinking, Ludi, why don't you just pay these loans off whenever they pop up on your screen, because you're just losing a bit of money? It's because I will forget. First off, I am very forgetful, okay? And I might just use it for something else. I'm one of those really obsessive people that when I know I have to pay off a loan, I want to do it as soon as possible, okay? Especially if it's a 4%. That being said, we are ready for the war with the Egyptians. We have a few provinces. We got claims on Syria, so we're going to be attacking with the war goal being Antakya. Surprisingly, Fazan is not joining because they have a malevolent ruler, and that's exactly how you pronounce that, clearly. Now, I wish we had some artillery. We are a tech 6, so we're close to getting artillery pieces. Well, not really. We are actually very far from that. We haven't even embraced Renaissance yet. I'm kind of not in the mood of wasting all my money to embrace Renaissance because the Mamelukes are military tech Tech 4. So we're actually fairly okay for the time being, militarily at least. Now when it comes to developing, we could say develop the province of Macedonia, encourage development decree, and get a little bit of production development in here up until we reach 20 crownlands, maybe a little bit of military too. There you go, boys. No more autonomy debuffs at all. As for the war with the Mamluks, we have to be extremely careful because they are very powerful. Even with military tech 4, they have about the same amount of units that we have. So we need to make sure we have our units close to one another. So we actually got the war goal, which means that we're going to eventually be getting 25 war score from holding on to the war goal of Antakya. In the Western Front, there are some great news actually. Matthias Hunyadi acceded to the throne of the Kingdom of Hungary, which means that Ladislav von Habsburg is not getting the Union for free. He can of course still attack Hungary to enforce the Union, and he might actually because they're not allied, but then I might be able to get an alliance with Austria, help them in the war against Hungary in exchange for getting the Balkan areas that I am interested in, right? And would you look at that, we can now diplo-vassalize Bologna. Remember that as long as the targeted nation is not at war, you can still diplo-vassalize them. I know a lot of people get this confused. Ludi, how come you can vassalize them when you're at war? It does not matter that I am at war. What matters is that Bologna is not at war when I diplo-vassalize them. They're at war now though, because they joined my war automatically. Looks like the Mamluks also managed to land in Constantinople somehow, but luckily for us, we are better. So we're going to be completely schnapple duping them. We're preventing them from switching over and going into Optimatoi, which means they're going to be stack wiped because they cannot go anywhere from the province where they navally landed in. So that's the double-edged sword of landing navally in provinces to take over forts. If you don't have an escape path and you don't have ships waiting for you to retreat to, you're going to get stack wiped, boys. Also, it's time for me to get admin tech 4. I am very behind with admin technology, but it's fine. We caught up eventually. Now that means we can get our very first idea set, and I'm going to go for a little bit of a weirder one this particular campaign. I'm going to go for quantity simply because I can get 2 more pronoyers, one from the first idea and a second from when we fill up the entire idea set. Plus, some of the policies are pretty good. We're going to eventually go for trade ideas, which is going to give an extra 15% goods produced modifier. Alternatively, aristocratic ideas is also pretty well balanced. It does give 1 extra pronoyer as well as 1 extra diplomat, which is honestly very good. Or we're going to get a lot of extra diplomats from diplomatic ideas, which is likely going to be our second idea to choose. Plus, I also just want to go back to my origins of quantity ideas in every single video because I haven't really been going quantity ideas in a really long time, honestly. And look at that. The first thing that happened is we went up to 54,000 maximum manpower, which is insane. It basically means we never need to worry about soldiers for the rest of the campaign now. Come on, Mamelukes. Cannot run away from me, brother. It's Jover. I have the high ground. Anna looks. Let me guess. Karakoyulu wants to join now. Of course they do, buddy boy. No, it's too over, sir. All right, well, I think I pretty much crushed the spirit and the souls of the Mamelukes, and I can take whatever I want. I'm going to take all of the coastline to the northern bits of the Mamelukes. Plus, I'm going to take, as I said earlier, Antioch and a little bit of money on the side too. How much can I take? Can I take 150? I can. Okay. Aggressive expansion wise, it's really nobody. It's just the Mamelukes and the Ottomans, so I really don't give a single schnaps. Casualties wise, it was fairly even out, but I think I lost most of my units to attrition more than anything else. And the reason I did this particular deal and I didn't take too much from the Syrian bits is because Syria is in the process of getting integrated. So once they integrate Syria, what's going to happen is I will release Syria and attack them for their cores afterward. So I take a lot less aggressive expansion from the second war against the Mamluk. That's just big brains. You got to think about these things 5 steps ahead of time before they even happen. So now we're going to be concentrating development in the lands that we took from the Egyptians because we want to make it cheaper to core up. And of course, we're also going to be firing the mercenary companies that were super loyal to us this whole time. Yes, that's right. I do not value mercenaries anymore. In fact, I'm going to be replacing the last one too, the Free Company, after they unsiege all of the lands that are currently taken by rebels. Oh, look at that. We get 20 patriarchal authority and 50 diplomacy from taking Antioch. Oh, wow. That is so cool. And it also gets renamed to Antiochia. I'm going to be recruiting as many infantry units as it takes me to get up to max land force limit, since we're going to need 1 European and 1 African contingent, I guess I could say now, or Middle Eastern one. And Iskandria is also renamed to Alexandria, the original name. I mean, Iskandria is technically the Arabicized version of Alexandria, right? And for the very first time, we actually have a positive positive balance. It's actually going to get even better after we delete this army here. Let's see how much we're going to be getting. We got 2.5 ducats from deleting the mercenaries. That is crazy. And you know what? I've seen Britannia inherit Burgundy way more times than I can possibly say right now. Well, gee, Hungary, would be a shame if I was to say diplo-vassalize your literal only ally before I attack you, wouldn't it? I do have to be careful in this war though, because they have the same military technology as me. I'm not fighting the Mamluks or some backwards nation. This is an actual enemy I need to be careful with. Oh my god, we inherited the throne of Bulgaria right before their army gets stack wiped. That is just, that's amazing. That's that's the third army I got stack wiped by the Hungarians, so this is not going good. This is really not going good for us. We have to fall back and actually regroup right now. I may have underestimated the Hungarians, that is for sure, but I'm also the Byzantines and I've got a lot of manpower. Holy mother of dice rolls, man, the Hungarians have been kicking my butt. What kind of generals they got, dude? That is crazy dice rolls they've been getting left and right here, man. I've got decent generals. They apparently have insane generals. On the bright side though, their manpower and their units is dwindling, so we should still be okay. Plus, we got the forts that allow us to march to the capital afterward. And we also have our third idea, which means we also have 10% goods produced modifier, so our economy should be a little bit better afterwards. We can also do now the third government reform, and we have the unique Byzantine restore the master of offices government reform, which reduces autonomy per level of statesman advisor by 0.01 monthly. That is actually pretty good. It also makes our advisors 15% cheaper as long as they are orthodox, which they are, of course. Now we're also able to do a tarnished state, which gives for 20 years some goods produced and national manpower, and it leads down to some more missions that are actually pretty OP, including a map color change to the Royal Imperial Roman purple color that we all deeply down desire. And to get an idea of what the economy looks like now, we're gaining 6 ducats just from a couple of missions and goods modifiers, which goes to show that this mission tree is honestly kind of OP once you start getting it going. Okay, so now we're just chasing down what's left of the Hungarian boys. Why do Poles attack the Hungarians every time after I wipe out the army? Why don't they do it before I wipe out the army? Huh? How about you actually put some work in Poland and not just go in and swoop in and take what is not even yours, okay? This is rightful Byzantine clay. I'm saying it right now, right? It's mine. Oh, it's not even only Poland, it's Bohemia too. Coalition is surprisingly very few nations that give a schnaps. In fact, it's none of the Europeans that give a schnaps about me taking Hungary, apparently. Except Celia, good old friendly neighborhood Celia, right? Oh, it's the holy trifecta, guys. Austria also attack Hungary. Literally every single one of their neighbors is attacking them right now. Also going to be starting my golden era around 1480s, 1490s is my personal favorite moment to start the golden era, as I'm going to be needing my mana points for a lot of things to expand early on in this phase. Sagla is going to be the target, and we're going to call in Karakoyunlu, which should help us out against a jam. Guess you could say they're going to help us get out of a jam. we're because they're called fine, I'll shut up now. Goes without saying, the Ottoman War is basically a farce, because this is the whole Ottoman army right here. It's not big. I'm also going to be annexing Ragusa manually fairly fast, and I'm able to do it because I enabled scutage on them as well as on Theodoro, so I can annex them during the war with the Ottomans, freeing up as such more diplo relation slots to get more subjects, which I can afterwards turn into more pronoias. All right, boys, we got our second idea set. As I said earlier, we're going to go for diplomatic ideas with our second idea, and we're gonna wait with getting more military ideas unlocked, because we do need military tech 7 so we get access to those cannons. And you know what, I actually thought of something. I'm a little bit upset that Karakoyunlu took control of Urfa, because I was gonna annex that, but I know it might seem like I'm a bad ally, but hear me out. We could easily peace out of this war with Ajam if we just offered some provinces from Karakoyunlu, couldn't we? I mean, if you think about it, it does technically mean that Karakoyunlu got us out of that jam, eh? Yeah, I'm literally the worst ally. I know. You know what? Might as well give this to Karakoyunlu too, since they occupied both. Screw it, man. Cancel their course too. Why not? Make sure they never existed. Because I'm a good ally. See, that's what a good ally does. It gave provinces to the ally as a good ally, right? Lose some, win some, I guess you could say. And there you go. The peace deal with the Ottomans will look a little bit like this. It's a fair deal in my opinion. Everybody wins, but mostly I win out of this deal, really. That also means we can do a few missions province here, Asia Minor, which will convert the province of Smyrna to Greek, and the provinces of Aydin, Huda, Vendigar area will slowly start converting to Greek or Pontic via events. Eventually, we'll be converting the entirety of Anatolia to Greek. Looks like we also can get some new rivals because we've outscaled the Mameluke, and I'm going to be selling some of my ships. I don't really need heavy ships right now, and I don't want to disband them. I might as well just make some money out of these ships, right? Oh, look at that. We're getting 60 from the Aragonese. I actually got these ships for free from a decision, so I'm literally making money right now out of thin air. Now, I'm not sure how the hell the Moldavians did not become a junior member of Poland yet, but I'll take advantage of that, and I am in fact going to diplomatically vassalize them because I'm really easily going to be able to do that after I get my royal marriage with them. Boomski, and there you go. I was right. We have 60 for 50, so that means we can literally diplo-vassalize them once we get 190 relation. Honestly, I did not need Moldova, but I just took it because I don't want Poland to have it, because Poland's now my rival. Okay, so now that we have artillery, we're going to make sure we have at least 4 artillery pieces in each of our main armies. We have 3 armies right now, one in the Balkans, one in North Africa, and one in Anatolia. They're going to eventually grow bigger and bigger, and we're going to be using them on 3 separate fronts, of course. Karakoyunlu also canceled the alliance with us. I have no idea why. I have only been such a great ally, but whatever the case. We also managed to get up to 41 development in Constantinople, and we upgraded our building to a trade depot from a marketplace with the promotion of the Emporoi. It really will allow us to be able to field all of these artillery pieces for all of the armies. And we also can do economic independence, which means giving out the indebted to the Emporoi privilege is not going to take away mercantilism from now on, and we get trade efficiency for 15 years plus 10%. Oh my freaking god. Trebizond was like so close to becoming our vassal, and Georgia diplomatically vassalized them. I am so mad right now. This is crazy. Georgia has some massive bowls, bro. What? Yeah, Georgia. How do I put this? You're gonna be disappearing very soon. And speaking of spring cleaning, we also need to clean up what's left of the Serbian realms, as well as let's see what the situation is with the Hungarians. So apparently they made peace with the Poles and the Bohemians, and they're still in a war with Austria, which, surprised they haven't lost it yet. What is going on here? Why is Austria not full throttling through their land? Oh, we can do triumph for the Asia Minor coast, and we get 10 prestige and army tradition. What's our army tradition looking like? 99.1. Yep, that's a pretty decent amount. Looks like it's also GG's for the Serbian army. It was nice knowing you, to make sure we have all the cannons in the province which we were actually sieging down. And look at that, boys. Opsikion has become Greek culture, the first one to convert back to Greek. It is still Sunni though, so we have to change it from Sunni to Orthodox. And it's also time to attack the Moroccans and the Tunisians. I am going to call in Aragon just so I make my life a little bit easier, because I'm sure Aragon also has a little bit of a beef to pick with the Tunisians. With the sudden disappearance of Serbia, we can all do Vengeance at Bar. So we have 2 options: Years of Separatism for 30 years -5 and core creation cost reduction, or Aggressive Expansion Impact. I don't give a schnaps about aggressive expansion. I'm going to take the core creation cost reduction. That is freaking huge. So it means we can basically pay less admin to core up provinces. Honestly, that's one of my biggest issues. Right now, I basically don't have many actual, half of my country is not actual full state. They are a little bit expensive, let's say. So making full states out of everything is kind of impossible. I'm trying to only make full states out of the provinces that I really want to make full states out of, and use up my admin points a little bit more wisely in this campaign, because we're going to need a lot of admin points here, boys. But hey, with the Vengeance of Bar, we also got claims on the southern tip of Austria, as well as the one state we still need from the Hungarians. These Tunisians are surprisingly weak, man. What's their tech level? 6! They're one tech level behind me, and they're that bad? Come on. I think that's probably because they haven't really fought many wars, so their army tradition is likely less. Let me actually check what the army comparison is like. They have only 3.1. I got 4.7. That is actually insane. That is genuinely insane of a difference. Seeing as Tunis is not here to help them, I think it's also time for us to take out Fezan, because we like hunting pheasant, eh? Because it sounds like a pheasant. Yep, I am not funny at all. I swear every time I look at the province of Abydos, I think about Stargate. You know, the planet, the first planet they go to, Abydos. I'm just weird, I know. And it's absolutely GG's for Tunis. Surprisingly, the Aragonese gave us control of these lands in Morocco. I was kind of expecting them to want the provinces for themselves, but apparently they don't. Morocco has cores on everything here. here, so it would be very smart for me to actually vassalize Morocco rather than killing them. Make sure we keep all of those juicy cores, and that is it. Beautiful. Welcome to the vassal swarm, Morocco. Glad to have you over here. And we could pay off their debt with their money that we took from them, which makes them loyal. That's just next level keckerism right there. If you're thinking, Ludi, keckerism is not a real word. Well, if you're so good with words, name all of them. Yeah, I didn't think so, buddy. Hey guys, can you find pheasant? Where's pheasant? It's gone. Actually gonna take a little bit of money from the Tunisians too, not just the provinces, because I've got quite a lot of overextension right now, so I'm gonna be taking a slight bit of a chill pill for a tiny bit of period. Not gonna do as much expansion, so I can wait for my admin to catch up a bit. It's also time that we release Syria and we use them to reconquer their cores in the Mamluk lands. Far too long have these Mamluks stood in the way of our greatness. Oh, now we're talking, baby. We got courthouses, we got regimental camps, and we are basically 14 years ahead of time with our technology for admin and military. So we're doing pretty good, I'd say. We're also on the -12 war score because we didn't take our core in Halab. So I've been busy sieging down the entirety of Mamluks, and the Mamluks have only had one goal: destroy my Anatolian holdings. I do believe it's also time for Kandar to become a full integral part of our society, as this breakaway Beylik truly just wants to be Roman again. I know. I've gone into the mind of the Chandari and they told me personally, okay? Also, just saying, I think Chandar is known in modern Turkey for having some of the best sweets. I might be wrong about that. Let me know in the comment section, Turkish peeps, because I think Chandari sweets are very popular in my country, at least where I'm from. And when it comes to Turkish sweets, Turkish delights, that is. Of course, I also have 1,000 rebels destroying the western half of my empire. Why wouldn't I? Classic Roman moment. I feel like I'm not going to be able to take the third Chandari province because it's occupied by Georgia. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to peace them out with this particular peace deal. Can also cancel their core this way, and it's actually okay with me. I'm fairly confident the Georgians can win against Chandar and Gazi Comuns, right? Surely Georgia is not going to lose that, considering half of their country's I just realized their country's occupied. They might actually lose this, and I might end up with having to fight Chandar again if they win. That is not great. I'm sorry, what the hell is Hormuz doing in Moldova, and how do they even have 17,000 units? Like, what? Now, seeing as all of our units are here already, we might as well just attack Tafilalt to take back the cores of our rightful Moroccan heir. Set up, I don't know, Marrakesh as the war target, and let's attack, yes, Maximus. Look at all these juicy cores, guys. Look at this. This is just amazing. Bro, I freaking called it, I swear. Chandar is still alive, guys, and it's apparently in Georgia now. Now, with the conquest of Cyprus, I'm fairly confident we can do our peace deal. Very important, though, before we do said peace deal, we need to make sure we get Syria below 15 Liberty Desire, because we want to land a Pronoyar in here. If we land a Pronoyar after we do the peace deal, they're going to be above 100 development, so we're not going to be able to land a Pronoyar anymore. So we're basically giving back all the lands to the Syrians. We're taking Cyprus for ourselves, and we're taking a little bit of money too. Aggressive expansion is basically nobody, because we've been reconquering cores for our vassals. We've been really managing our aggressive expansion pretty well. Right now, there's not even any possible coalitions to form against us. And we can also retract the right to inheritance, and they're still loyal. Look at that, because we've got -97% Liberty Desire from having given back their provinces to the Syrians. Wait a second. Karakoyunlu only has 9,000 units. Well. If it isn't time for us to expand our eastern borders. No, but seriously though, I'm taking everything. You guys suck. I need to make sure all of my beautiful borders look amazing, and we have the entirety of the Anatolian region and the Iraqi bits. I'm pretty sure the Iraqi bits are also Roman, if you ask me. We do need another general, so let's get one, and we can do apparently one more mission now. The theme system. Oh, this is huge. Now this unlocks a unique government reform, the theme system government reform, which gives manpower in primary and accepted culture provinces plus 25, and also boosts up our Eugenes land rights privilege, which no longer costs autonomy, and will give 10% land force limit modifier, and we get 100 reform progress. That is insane. We can also restore the Byzantine navy now, and eventually we can get sea fire, which gives galley combat ability till the end of the game plus 10%. Now we have two options with our theme system. we can centralize or we can decentralize. Centralizing allows pronoias to be non-hereditary by default when we establish them, and we get 1% crown loans when we inherit a pronoia every 5 years, as well as land fire damage till the end of the game. Decentralizing, on the other hand, gives us an extra 4 pronoiars, and we can get mercenary manpower and discipline. I'm gonna go for the centralization, thank you very much. I feel like that is what I need right now. Ooh, crown lands 50%, that's gonna be an issue. I think, yeah, I'm actually below 20% right now. That's really not good. Why would you still siege Damascus when you're getting attacked by clearly superior Byzantine units? I would have ran 1,000 miles by that point if it was me, but no, Karakoyunlu generals be like, oh, we can take them. We can totally take the actually insanely overpowered units when we have military tech 6. Of course you can, clearly. Now, I'm also going to be deleting my forts in Cyprus here and bringing my fleet into port, because I don't think they actually have an enemy fleet, do they? Also was thinking about the fact that in EU5, these areas have a lot of Christians. That's actually pretty good, because in 1337, even in 1444, there would have still been quite a few Christians throughout the Middle East. Kinda sucks that, you know, in EU4, you only see the majority, not the actual amount of population of different religions and such and cultures and so on, right? So I'm really happy to see population making its way back into EU5. I feel like the best thing about EU3 was the population system. The way it scaled everything was amazing, right? So having that back is just a massive W. Okay, so we've gotten all of the lands back for the Moroccans. Let's make sure we transfer these provinces to Morocco. Also, am I the only one that every time I pronounce Morocco, I want to go like Morocco? Am I the only one? Why do I always have that at the back of my brain when I say Morocco? Am I just strange? Please tell me some of you guys also feel like that, you want to say that. And we're going to do the same thing with the Moroccans. We're going to lower their liberty desire so we can make them into a pronoiar before we do the peace deal, of course. I really hope the Genoese do not attack these rebels, because I would love to get these islands without having to attack Genoa, because they're allied to the French. They are, right? They're not allied to the French anymore. Okay, well, I'm taking that shit back. I'm going to wait till they give me a core on Schio as well, though, because they gave me a core on Lesbos by sieging it down. And there you have it. They did give us both of our cores. So I'm going to be attacking them. These lands are going to be mine once more. Also, I might take a little bit more out of Crimea, because that's also rightful Byzantine clay. Everybody knows. Truce is also over with the Ottomans, so we're going to be attacking them too. Now, what are you thinking? Ludi, you said you're going to be chilling. When does the chilling happen? Right after this war. This is the last one, I swear. I'd say this is a pretty good chunk of land we can take from Karakoyunlu now. Boom shakalaka. That is, if I'm not mistaken, the entirety of Anatolia under our control once more, which means we can do the Avenge 1071 mission. That's going to give us until the end of the game governing capacity, missionary strength versus heathens, permanent claim on the Mashriki area, and culture conversion will extend to the entirety of the Anatolian region. Now, we also have 3 options. We can continue to convert to Greek, or we can accept Turks. No, we're going to continue to convert to Greek, obviously. It's not even an option. Who would even think of the other one as an alternative? Not possible. We also can do a few more missions. Princes of the Yazis, which gives Trebizond center of trade upgrade, and until the end of the game, cost of advisors with rulers culture minus 10%, so that's minus 25% with the other bonus that we had from earlier. And we can also do Antioch and Jerusalem, which gives permanent claims on the entirety of Egypt. So let's check our diplomatic map mode. Look at that, guys. Look at that. That is just insane, brother. What on earth? And we are at 95 overextension, so we probably should chill a little bit, I'd say. And seeing as we have so much extra admin, it's time to make full cores out of our Balkan holdings. Wait, why am I at war with what? The Great Horde made Genoa a subject? They made him a vassal. Oh my god. How is that even possible? How? Does Genoa not have land? And they do not have lands in Italy. Oh my god. Okay, the plot has thickened, guys. The plot has actually thickened. Also seems like Cork is where we've got feudalism spawned in, so it means that the English are likely a massive colonial empire, and we just never knew about it. Also, Portugal is cut in half by their friendly neighborhood Castilians. Oh, Georgia is also a vassal of the Great Horde. It looks like the Great Horde has been doing pretty good for themselves. I am gonna have to wipe them out from the face of the planet, though, no matter how good they've been doing for themselves. One thing I definitely noticed is that no matter what war I have, the land that always gets sieged down is Moldova. Always. Actually always. Which I have to say is actually pretty accurate for us. Ooh, this is a great event. Radical reforms, 200 of admin and diplo power. And if we really want to cheat Jesus, we could just fire these guys temporarily, get the power points, and then hire them back. Okay, we've pieced out a jam, which means that we can probably piece out the Ottomans. Let's go, baby. 139, 122, and coalition literally doesn't matter because nobody cares about the Ottomans disappearing. Look at that. The Ottomans are gone. The world is safe once more, boys. We fixed all the world's problems, clearly. Except the fact that freaking sieges still go up to 64% for me. Because why wouldn't they, right? Also, I've been getting a ton of these culture conversion events. So, are you serious? Again, it didn't go up from 64. Come on, man. I'm tired of that. Please fold. But yeah, let me check how many provinces are Greek now, because I've been getting a lot of these events. So we got quite a few extra Greek Pontic, and even the very first Cappadocian Greek province is here. There you go, boys. The province of Lesbos has defected to us. We didn't even need to declare the war, but I kind of declared the war just to make sure that in case they want to unsiege these provinces, they cannot, right? And Chios also follows right after. Officially, all of the historical Eastern Roman Empire borders are now ours. And we also got the 8,000 rebels. That also became ours too. Cool. That means we can do a repulse the Republic's missions, which gives us a little bit of tax development. With the siege of the last fortification they've got here, we should be able to get what we want. We apparently cannot. How about if we just take the coastline? Would that work? It looks like that might actually work. You know what? I'm actually fine with that. Let's just take this. We'll take the rest of the provinces in the next war against them. We have bigger fish to fry, and we actually do need to be at peace for a few years here to regroup our units, redo our army composition, and just get ready for the next expansion phase, which is going to be what's left of North Africa, as well as start going into Castile. Okay, see, now that just makes me confused, because I was going to attack you guys. Maybe I can use you against the French, because the French managed to grab a union over Naples, and I'd like to take Naples from them. So yeah, maybe I'll get the alliance with the Castilians temporarily, use them against the French, and then attack the Castilians after. See, change of plans always is great to mold yourself on whatever RNG you get. It would appear the Western Europeans are not as united as you would imagine. The Protestant Reformation has triggered, and this is when things are going to get really juicy, because I can play the Europeans against one another now. And check it out, way more provinces are now Greek and Cappadocian within Anatolia than before. I feel like the rate at which this is converting to Greek and Anatolian and Cappadocian is way faster than previous patches, but maybe it's just my imagination. Alright, boys, I think the first thing we got to do here is give a little bit of a situation on the current Byzantine Empire. It is 1507, and it might look like we're doing really great, which we are, I'm not denying it, but there are some major issues that we're going to be discussing, some bottlenecks that we're going to have to work our way through, because we do want to restore the Roman Empire as Byzantium. Now, of course, if you haven't seen the first part, you'll see the link to the first part of the campaign in the description below, so you can see how you can easily defeat the Ottomans in the first few years and end up with an empire similar to the one that I have right now in 1506, 1507. You also can get the save for yourself if you go over to my Discord. The economy we have is not amazing. We're basically taking a little bit more expenses than we have income. One of the reasons for that is because we have a lot of taxation reduction modifiers, and tax is still king in 1507, so we need to fix this up first and foremost. We only have 2 loans, so that's at least decent. Manpower wise, we're doing really good, so that's not an issue, but we do need to start recruiting more units. We have up to 98 the land force limit, so we're gonna have to standardize our units. We've got a very unstandardized army right now, and that's really gonna bite us in the butt as soon as we start any more conflicts. And then the third thing that's an issue is our diplo relations. We have allies in Castile and Aragon, but these are going to be our main expansion paths in this playthrough, and I'm going to be first and foremost canceling these 2 alliances, and we're going to be replacing both of these nations with the French or the Austrians if they're not rival. They are rival to each other. I'm going to have to decide between these 2. France is not too bad actually right now. Maybe France and Savoy, and then we can switch between Savoy and Austria. That works too. We don't really have any aggressive expansion into Europe because we haven't really been expanding into Europe. We've primarily been expanding into the Middle East. So we're going to be using one major war in North Africa to take the rest of the lands that we don't have, namely the Tunisian bits, which are also guaranteed by the Castilians. So we can use that war to weaken Castile. Subjects wise, we still have Mantua and Bologna as our subjects in Italy. We have Moldova, and we also have Morocco as one of our pronoia. So whenever the leader of Morocco passes away, we're going to be integrating them just like we did with the Syrians just now actually. Also going to give the province of Figuig to my Moroccan subject since I cannot core it. We also can now clean up the borders here and get rid of what's left in Chandar. I do need some pretty borders. I am an absolute absolute hater of border gore more than anything else. Another major issue I have in this campaign is that I was actually really unlucky with my mana distribution RNG. Basically, I had a lot of events that lowered my mana. I had a lot of usage of mana that was not most optimal. We did manage to keep at least our technology on par with the rest of the world, but we're really behind with our idea sets, so we're gonna need to honestly take a chill pill so we can fill up our idea sets, unlock level 10, and get the third idea set, because falling behind with ideas really can murder your nation in the mid to late game. Also, we can now land a pronoyer in Moldova, seeing as we integrated Syria, so we have one slot open. And as long as we keep them below 15 Liberty Desire, we can also retract the right to inheritance. That is in 1 month, and that means whenever this 46-year-old voivode passes away, we're going to be able to integrate Moldova without having to spend any single bit of Diplo power, which is really, really valuable for us right now. And we got our claim on this little holdout of Tripoli, which we can get rid of. I honestly just saw that they exist like a couple of years ago in game years. I didn't even realize that they broke away from Tunis and got hold of the island of Jerba. All right, let's go ahead and get our next diplomat. So we now have 5 diplomats, which is actually pretty good. We can use them to get more diplomatic vassals. I actually really love getting diplomatic vassals as Byzantium because you can make them pronoyers after, and it's just free real estate. So right now that would be Shirvan, Medina, Circassia, Trent, Florence actually would possibly become diplo vassals if we get higher diplo rep, maybe increase the trust and so on with them. So maybe it's worth getting an alliance with the Florentines after the war's over. One more thing that I made, a mistake that I made in the previous campaign, is I forgot to have my missionary assigned to autonomously convert provinces. Because of that, I probably lost a good few years of provinces not having been converted. So that kind of bites me in the ass, because look at the religious map mode. Most of our empire is either Shia or Sunni at this point, so not great. We really need to catch up and convert everything. And there you have it. Our great ally of France is here. Apparently we can still ally the Austrians too, so we'll keep both of these alliances for now. We have another couple of slots here, so let's see who we can get as temporary allies. Actually, England would be amazing, and surprisingly the English are not rivals to the French. In fact, they're rivals to the Aragonese and the Castilians, so that's honestly perfect. I'm obviously taking these alliances because these bigger nations will get less aggressive expansion with me when I annex all of Iberia and Italy, so it's going to be easier to handle any potential coalition as long as it doesn't include the big boys of Europe, namely England, France, Austria, and potentially Brittany. Now we also got the core creation cost reduction from our Byzantine ideas, which is going to be of massive help for our conquest. And let's also get Savoy. I think now we're ready for the war. Let's go ahead and attack Tunis. The Castilians will join in, which means that we're going to have to quickly focus on the Castilians too. They do have a pretty sizable fleet, 37, but we should have more ships than them, so we will be able to get control of the Gulf of Almeria and the Straits of Gibraltar, which means we'll prevent them from transferring their troops between North Africa and Europe at will. And we're also going to do this small little war against what's left of Sargatia, and the goal is to finish this war as soon as possible, because in 1 year we really need to fight the Mamluk. Oh, look at that! The French attacked Aragon as soon as I cancel my alliance with them. That is crazy. On the one hand, I'm happy to see it, but at the same time it's not really great because it means the French might grow in size and it's going to make it harder for me to wipe them out afterward. We've also renewed the icon of Saint Michael, which gives 5 discipline and manpower recovery speed. Honestly, as the Byzantines, you really want to have a military icon, since you're going to need that extra little bit of oomph, especially if you go for quantity rather than quality troops, right? Because we do have quantity over quality right now. I also want to talk about one of the most important things in Europa Universalis for when should you core a state fully, or when should you make it a trade company and so on, right? Well, in our case here, what we've done is we've temporarily made everything basically full states with a few exceptions here and there, but I'm basically keeping Anatolia, the Balkans as my main states fully cored, and I'll be doing the same to the Western European parts after, once we switch the capital to Rome. We'll have all of Iberia, France, Italy, Balkans, and Anatolia as full states. North Africa, I'm actually going to turn into trade companies, all of it, as well as we'll be doing some trade companies in the Iraqi side and so on to get extra merchants out of that. However, until we make this into trade companies, before we make this into trade companies, I first off want to convert them to my religion, change them to my culture, so I never have to worry about religious rebels or whatever kind of cultural separatists from these regions in the rest of the campaign. Now that does take a massive toll on my governing capacity, so as you can see, I'm already over governing capacity by 200, which is huge. That in essence lowers our admin efficiency by 11%, which in turn means it's going to be a lot more aggressive aggressive expansion, also 11 more aggressive expansion for taking provinces. So before we take anything, we're going to need to give out the plus 100 governing capacity privileges for our estates. Oh my god, I just saw, holy mother France, what the schnitzel, brother. We're going to set Cairo as the war target, and we're going to push for the war target too. We're going to need a couple more generals, I think. Well, you have one. Let me see if I can roll a better general with more siege pips. Apparently I cannot. I know it's not smart taking lands from Castile right now, but I'm going to make a single exception to that. I'm taking Agadir, as that's going to block off these 4 provinces of the Castilians, and in turn that means that the rebels that we have in these provinces will enforce their demands, and these are Moroccan separatists, so that means these 4 provinces will go to my Moroccan subject. We also can use the money we took from them to become Defender of the Faith, so we can assign the second autonomous missionary to start converting everything to our religion. And I'm going to be upgrading my Parthenon here, using a little bit of manpower too. Why not? We have a lot of manpower right now. And I just realized I did that without giving out the privileges, so we took a lot of extra aggressive expansion for no reason. Oof. Tunis will still be around in 1 province, because I cannot fully annex the entirety of Tunis, sadly. 1 stability for 5 patriarchal authority. That sounds like a great deal to me. We've been getting a ton of Greek culture conversion events, so let's see what it looks like now. Anatolia is almost completely Greek, which is awesome, but they are mostly Sunni still, so we have to keep on converting these lands. I'm also bringing one of my armies to the border with the Hungarians, because I can attack them with the help of Austria, France, and you know what? Actually, I'm just going to declare the war now, because I can call in all of my allies, so my allies can do most of the heavy lifting by the time I get there, I guess. All right, we got the war score we need. We're going to be taking Cairo in this war, simply because I want the best city in the Alexandrian node, so I get majority of the Alexandrian node after this. Plus, Cairo does have the pyramids as well as the Al-Azhar University, which gives globally idea cost reduction -5, and every time you upgrade it, you get innovativeness +3, +5, and +1. So the sooner you get that and upgrade it, the better. I do have to say that the time of the supremacy over the crown is over. We don't need them anymore. We're going to give the +100 mana privilege. Does mean we have very low crownlands now, so we're going to need to be careful, because it will make some of our subjects a little bit more disloyal because of the extra 100 liberty desire from subject development. We also unlocked the theme system, which is a unique tier 5 government reform for the Byzantines. It makes our Oigenes land rights a lot better, and manpower in primary culture as well as accepted culture provinces +25, which is huge. Now I've also assigned one of my armies here to just basically wipe out any rebels that might pop out in the North African part, since we do have a lot of rebels that will likely pop out in this area, as well as I got another army doing the exact same in here. I was about to attack Iraq, since it's basically really easy to take now, but we need to be at peace, because I really need to take 5% crownlands, so we get above 6% crownlands that we have right now, right? Oh, something happened with Morocco. They got the province back. One thing that I didn't foresee is the fact that when a nation you have as a subject gets provinces back, is they will get increased liberty desire. They got a lot of increased liberty desire. I had to use 60 prestige to lower their liberty desire, so that is not good. You're 65, dude. Just please die. Come on. Let's go ahead and properly do this by setting our unit to autonomously suppress rebels. Wow, we can actually take 500 ducats from wait, how much can we actually take? 1,300, but we only get 180 out of that. Oh, no way. Okay, in that case, I'm just gonna take the 2 provinces for the French, because I know my beloved France is always gonna be my bestest of friends, right? Totally not doing it so we can make them small and then use them as a vassal to feed back their cores. I would never do that, clearly. All right, you boyos, just the 4 provinces is enough. Cancel some cores. Does it make any difference if we cancel or not the cores? No, it doesn't. I just like to cancel cores. It's like genuinely, it's like a pet peeve for me. Canceling cores, it's fun. I don't know. I like it. Does it have any impact on the game? No, it doesn't. Is it fun? It is, yeah. So I'll take that as a win. All right, now we can actually see some crownlands, so we don't lose insane amounts of autonomy, and our subjects are a little bit more loyal now too. Plus, we can get more rivals in Castile, Poland, and we can hold off of getting the Austrians as a rival. And we can continue down our mission tree. We can do advance into Illyricum, and more importantly, we can start building up some workshops. They are actually giving us a ton of money right now, so I'm genuinely thinking to take some loans and just build a lot of workshops, or just not go to war for a few years, build up my economy, and then we're gonna be insanely overpowered when we decide to go back to war again. And we can also do the City of World's Desire mission, which makes Constantinople insanely overpowered. Plus, until the end of the game, whenever we concentrate development, it's not gonna give any loss. So every time we're gonna be expanding, we will 100% be concentrating. That means it's gonna be cheaper to core up those provinces, and we don't lose any of that development because it all goes back into our already cored up lands and capital. Aside from removing cores, another really favorite activity of mine in this game is to just lower the autonomy in provinces. This is quite literally free money and free manpower that we're getting, because you always want to keep your autonomy as close to zero as possible. We do not believe in autonomy in the Roman Empire now, do we? All right, another day, another mission. We're gonna hold out with this one until we get 60 loyalty for the Emporoi though, so we get 5 mercantilism instead of 3. And to do return to the gold, we just need to build a few more workshops, so we're actually not far off from being able to get this done. I'm also intentionally provoking my rebellions just so I can get rid of them a little bit faster. So we provoke the one in Kabylia when the troops is there, then we do the same for the one in Fezzan, and so on. It does mean that the rebels get more units when you spawn them, but I don't care. I've got enough soldiers to deal with any sort of rebellion, and I just want to get rid of them so that afterwards I can stop paying for my armies, so I actually make a lot more money and I can use that to build more buildings faster. Hey, truce is over with Castile. Let's go ahead and actually use the reconquest of cores, and we're gonna call in all of our allies and let our allies do most of the heavy lifting. I think I'm also gonna co-belligerate the Papal States for that matter though, and we're doing this because we might actually take Rome from the Pope. Let's see how much aggressive expansion that would be. 34, that's actually doable. That's 100% doable. I am so taking Rome in this war. The cool part is that I'm pretty certain I can give Celia to Austria, so I get rid of a very annoying OPM over here. Okay, let's also develop the gold mine in Kosovo. We need to get it up to 8 production development so we can do return to gold mission. And I'm also fairly confident that I can handle a war with the Karakoyunlus too. We need to take the Iraqi parts, which again is rightful Roman clay. Oh no, Savoy took parts of Milan. It's almost as if someone's planning to make Milan an OPM and then vassalize. Almost. Who's to say what's gonna happen, right? Oh no, dude. Are you kidding me right now? I was gonna take freaking Rome and now Naples occupied it. Oh my god, this is the worst case scenario. Well, that basically means that we can only do one thing, and that is peace them out. That's so unfortunate, honestly. We can release Provence. That is actually 9 head. I don't mind, Pope, that you keep your Rome. We'll take it later. But what matters is that these guys are indebted to us for having released them. So I'm going to start improving relations with them because I'm fairly confident I'm going to be able to diplo-vassalize Provence, and that's like 100 plus development of French lands that we're going to be able to feed them back later down the line. So there you go. Just mold yourself on whatever RNG you get. Sometimes you might not get the best outcome. Sometimes it might not work your way, but just make the most of it in essence. That really makes a difference between a good and a bad player in this game. I'm also going to be spamming some courthouses, which will lower the governing capacity by quite a bit, so we're going to be able to annex more provinces as consequence. Oh yes, baby. We got province war score minus 20%. We got an extra pronoyer that we can have from the admin ideas. It's starting to shape up for sure. Oh, we inherited Morocco. Oh god, was that guy like 73 or something? That kind of sucks though, because we were reconquering core, so that means we cannot reconquer core anymore. So these 3 provinces, we're gonna have to take the aggressive expansion for them too. Oof. Oh, that's unfortunate. And our governing capacity skyrocketed again because we integrated Morocco, bruh. Guess we can give out the Clericoy land, right? The last one that we can give out. Thank god we have the Cossacks estate, otherwise we would really be struggling with governing capacity right now. And I think it's time we also do the peace deal with the Castilians. I want to take the islands here. Wait, what? Occupied by France? Excuse me, France? No. No, 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 no. The islands here, I guess. Might as well take them. As well as all the southern state here, because we want to take the monument in Granada too, as well as have a foothold for future invasions into Iberia. Plus La Coruña, so we can release Galicia. And can we take Cordoba and Cáceres? We can. Okay. So that's it. That's the perfect peace deal, because we can release 1, 2, 3 subjects that we can feed back the cores. We can make them pronoyas, and we just basically integrate half of the Iberian land for free as consequence. So let's go with that particular peace deal. Boom shakalaka. That is a very fair deal in my opinion. You barely got any lands lost, Castile, let's face it. Ignore the fact that there's a massive PP in your side here. Now it did mean that we lost a lot of diplomatic power and we're a little bit overextended, but it's going to be fine because remember, we have a superpower. We can concentrate and we don't lose any development, right? This does say that we lose development, but the mission said we don't. So I'm going to trust the mission and I'll expect that I didn't lose any of that 5 development. Oh no, I didn't occupy Malta. I just realized I thought I occupied it earlier, but apparently I didn't. So it reverted to control of Naples because it had cores on Malta. That is unfortunate. Luckily enough, the Karakoyunlus, I am going to piece them out now because I do need to release some subject. All right, that does mean we can get 1 stability from Follow the Rivers mission. And we're going to use a little bit of our prestige to placate our Pronoyars, which are very disloyal apparently. Freaking hell, man. How old are you? You're 63. Can you guys stop living up to 100 years and just pass away already? I don't really have much of an option. I'm also going to be releasing Iraq as a Pronoyar. If I don't, then I'm going to be overextended for a very long time. They're going to get 5 provinces, and I'm going to give them the other 3 provinces to the south as well. Plus, they have another province we can take from Ajam later down the line, I guess. I guess this is also kind of historical since the Romans technically did have these areas more as subjects of various sorts than actually directly controlled by them for majority of time at least. They had various Arabic tribes under their tributary system, I guess you could say. There you go. We can make Galicia into a Pronoyar, and we'll be doing the exact same with Leon, which has a little bit of liberty desire now. Okay, everyone's getting a lot of liberty desire all of a sudden, for Christ's sake. There you go. Now we can land a Pronoyar here. So we got a Pronoyar in Leon, we have another one in Galicia, and we have the 3rd one, which we haven't yet done in Iraq. We have to do that. So I guess I'll do that after I integrate Moldova, which is being a bit of a pain in the ass. Oh my god, finally we inherited Moldova. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Freaking most rebellious and annoying vassal ever. Now I kind of get how the Ottomans felt about my people for 500 years. Now it goes without saying, the first age ability we're going to go for is the Religious War, which means when we attack nations of a different faith, non-Orthodox, we can take 25% more, which is huge because pretty much nobody except the Muscovites are Orthodox right now. And of course, some nations in Italy that we've been slowly making Orthodox. And what do you know, guys? Little old Milan became a 2-province minor nation. With a lot of juicy cores on my enemies of Venice. Well, if it isn't, time to make him my subject. And speaking of, I almost forgot to make Provence a subject, which is an absolute must. Now let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cores we can take back from the French. Oh, almost forgot to make these guys a Pronoyar too. Okay, 29 Liberty Desire. Fairly confident I can make them a integrated Pronoyar. Time for a bit of spring cleaning here. Basically, we're wiping out what's left of Tunis and getting rid of those horrible cores that they accrued over time. Great part is that once we pacify this area, we convert it to our religion, convert it to our culture. We never need to worry about rebels here, so we don't even need to station any armies. In fact, historically speaking, the Roman Empire usually had like 1 or 2 legions stationed in North Africa. That's it, because after they basically conquered all of North Africa above the Saharan bits, it was really easy to maintain the cities. It was actually a golden age for North Africa. Peace, prosperity, lots of trade was happening everywhere. Nobody was murdering anyone. Nobody was vying for power because they all had a central government in Rome. It was honestly one of the best periods to be living in North Africa, the breadbasket of the Roman Empire, together with the Egyptian parts, of course, as it was known. I mean, Egypt is also part of North Africa, so reinforces my point, I guess. Now we do need a lot more ships. I'm gonna get a caravel fleet, and I might start disbanding some of my fighting ships because I need around 100 light ships for now, I'd say, as well as I need a flagship. So let's go ahead and build one in Constantinople. Why not? Name it after the famous Byzantine warrior Jonicus Sinopoulos. Famous for sure. Light ship, of course. Trade ship, trade power per ship and fleet +1. Fleet movement speed. And you know what? We're gonna go crazy and do the monthly chance of admiral skill gain. Why not? Better than nothing. Alright, the second war with the Mamluks is done. Now this time I cannot really take any money because I'm not in the mood to stay in this war for any longer. I'm also not getting too much aggressive expansion considering the amount of lands that we're taking. We're basically taking all of the actual Egyptian parts, plus we're snaking all the way to Mecca too. We're gonna have to attack Medina next in order to connect our lands now. And we also can do a few more missions. We can do into Aegyptus, which means we get a lot of claims in the Arabian parts as well as the North African parts, which we already conquered actually, so it's a bit late to get these claims, but I guess better late than never, right? Oh bro, we got 100 overextension exactly. Seriously, even after concentrating, that's crazy. It's so cheap, all the cores now. We are basically paying 13% to core this stuff. Look at that. We have 87% coring cost reduction because of the Roman Empire, adaptability, having a permanent claim claim, the fact that it's a golden era, innovativeness, and so on. So yeah, it's just crazy. I do want to get 100% innovativeness. We don't really have that much. We only have 30%. So like I said earlier, we did struggle with the mana generation at the first phase of the campaign. We didn't have the best RNG. Even now, I mean, my air is 440. That is pretty bad, actually. Now, we also made the Milanese our subject, and what we can do is we can use our favors to return the cores, namely Pavia and Novara from Savoy. That way we avoid quite a bit of a big war, and we got quite a lot of development. 26 development in this one and 16 in the other province. That's pretty cool. Also, we got a third missionary now since we have the city of Mecca, and we can use more favors to return the cores from the French. Oh, the Mamluks are actually guaranteeing Medina, so if we attack them now, we basically reset the truce that we have with the Mamelukes. Oh, hell yeah, that's actually amazing. It does mean that we cannot core anything from the Mamelukes, so we're gonna have to quickly piece them out. We were able to take their capital pretty quick since they just moved the capital there and they didn't really have much of a garrison, so now we can do a quick peace deal. Shaka, we got a little bit of ducats, so that means technically we won that, okay? Centuries of exhaustion, depopulation, disaster have shrunk the city of Constantinople so much so that within the walls itself there was much farmland. Thankfully, this trend has been reversed and the city has now managed to outgrow these walls, climbing in population and numbers. And we just finished coring all of the Egyptian parts. We actually core a lot faster because of the core creation cost reduction. It also speeds up the time it takes to core provinces, not just make them cheaper. All right, we can do Diplotech 10 now. And I just realized Persia formed, clearly was formed by a jam. Pretty funny how we got Persia and we got Georgia still around, and Persia's guaranteeing Georgia. Much like historically, the Romans and the Persians fought a lot over who's the real owner of the Georgian and the Armenian part. Spoiler, it's us. We're the real owners. Now, as long as I let Medina alive, I don't need to fight Fars. I can just take 2 provinces and then I can piece them out, and that's enough for me, honestly. That does mean we can do our mission now. I'm also going to be taking my 5 1% loans, so I can first off embrace colonialism, which I have yet to embrace, and second off, we're going to be spamming workshops and barracks and everything else with the remainder of the money because we want to have as many buildings as possible. We have not been building as much as we should have. I think that was the last province. Now all of Anatolia is officially Greek, Cappadocian, or Pontic. Also, religious wise, we've pretty much doubled down on it, so most of Anatolia is now Orthodox, with quite a few other parts around our empire also Orthodox. We have doubled down on the modifiers, so we're roughly converting one province every 7 or 8 months. Also using a lot of my prestige and paying off debt in order to make most of my pronoyars lose the right to inheritance, so that way we can basically integrate them once they die. We've got so far Galicia as a regular pronoyar, we've got Leon, Mantua, I think Iraq or something like that, so we've got quite a few of them. Oh, we can make Ferrara a vassal diplomatically. Yes, please. There we go. We can now switch over and produce glass in Naxos too. Imagine if I was a sneaky boy and I kept my units next to the border with the Venetians. I could easily just stack wipe their entire army, wouldn't I? You know what? I'm actually gonna do that. Yeah, I don't think they've caught on to what I'm trying to do here, have they? Nope, they definitely have not. Oh no, Venos, you lost your army. Okay, let's see if they want to piece us out now that we got Warsaw. Oh, they do actually. Okay, so we're gonna take a little bit of money, get them out of the war. Hallelujah. So now we can use these troops on the Venetian front, or the Western front, better yet. Funnily enough, though, both Poland and Lithuania together have less unit than Brittany. Oh, and the coolest part, we can literally restore the Senate for the Romans. Basically, it allows us to enable Parliament, but it disables the call the Diet interaction. So that is freaking awesome. We have a Parliament, boys, now. And I think missionaries +1 is definitely the right choice here, because we need to have as many missionaries as possible. We're also going to be giving Constantinople the seat in the Parliament. Only one, the rest of them they can assign by themselves. This is enough for now, so we can actually pass that and get that extra missionary, and we can assign them to the autonomous pool. Now, this is my first encounter with the French units, and I have to say it's gruesome. They got 10 more discipline than me. They've got 1 more morale almost, or 0.7 more morale than me, which is huge. And they even have more freaking tactics because of the extra discipline. So I need to avoid engagements with them. Oh, I'm sorry. They actually got military tech 12. That explains a lot. I am so screwed. I need to really avoid the French. The French are very close to piecing us out though. Okay, let's see what it's looking looking like now? 25, 24. Oh, yes, please. Oh, look at that. We lost 300,000 units. That is insane. All right, let's go ahead and try and peace out Brittany now. I'm afraid Brittany is going to get the World War I Germany treatment, and it's going to be blamed for Austria's problems. All right, so I'm ready. We're going to be taking all the money they have, and we're also going to be taking the province of Calais. Why do you ask we're taking this? Well, for strategic Burgundian reasons. It's over, Venice. I got you by the balls. We're only taking Istria, Venice, and returning the courts to our subjects because it's extremely high aggressive expansion, the city of Venice itself, because it is a 34 development city, apparently. We also liberated Verona and Padua, which means we can turn them into our vassals diplomatically, so we technically took even more without paying the aggressive expansion toll. Now, the question of the age is, what are we going to do with the destruction of Venice? So we have two options. We either lose 75% of the development in Venice, and we get 75 ducats for each development point, so that's, I don't know, it's a lot of ducats, but it will get monthly devastation the city until the end of the game. Or we can reappropriate the arsenal, which will allow us to build the unique ships of the Venetians, the galleass, without the need of a shipyard or a dock in Venice also. So we're gonna go for that because I'm not a scumbag and I do want to reintegrate the city of Venice. After all, the city of Venice is a very, very Roman heritage city. Also, now we can start exporting Byzantine mosaics, and that will give us, depending on who we export this to, a different amount of money. And there you have it, boys. We also got our third idea set fully unlocked, so now we can do another policy, diplomat +1, monthly autonomy change minus 0.05, and we can even do another one if we want, but it would cost us 1 military power per month, so we don't really need to. Now we can also retract the right to inheritance from Milan since they're super happy with us, and since we got back all the cores that they had. And for a measly 20 prestige, we can do the same with Ferrara. So once we integrate Ferrara and Milan, we have basically half of the northern bits of Italy without having spent a single Diplo power point to integrate them. Pronoyars are really, really OP in my opinion. Yo, speak of the devil, we just incorporated Milan, so that means we got a massive chunk of North Italy. I kind of feel like I really need to start building a lot of courthouses if I really want to continue to expand though. Oh, actually no, I just realized we have 20% more governing capacity from the admin ideas, so we're genuinely pretty good with it now. So I've released Burgundy from the province of Calais, and now before anything else I need to wait for the French to finish the war. There you go. As I was saying, they did finish their war. I'm going to be attacking France, my truce is over, and I'm of course going to be going for the reconquest, of course, for both Burgundy and Provence, especially Provence, because the leader of Provence is 31. He might die any moment, right? So yeah, it's the Middle Ages. Hey, you never know. If he does, I like it if he has all of the lands so I can, you know, get a big chunk of the French lands. Sacre bleu! The French went up to 88,000 units. Brother, they really want to not lose this war, do they? This is pretty much the same like World War II when, you know, the good guys like us took on the bad guys like the French, you know, to liberate the world from the evil and yeah, make the world a better place basically, right? How many units do we have compared to them? We got roughly 400,000 against 80. I mean, they're so scared of all of the troops that they're not even fighting. They're basically just trying to siege down stuff in Iberia, far from all my troops, because they know that they cannot actually take on my units. Look at that. They're just trying to do like small skirmishes against like 5,000-6,000 units when they can find them. And you know what? I'm okay with that. Let them eat my allies 5,000-6,000 and my puppets 5,000-6,000 or promeras. All right, I think that is pretty much it from the French. We're gonna take back all the cores, plus we're taking a little bit of money, and we are taking a few extra provinces because we'll be releasing Toulouse as well as Gascony. So that's half of France. All of the southern parts of France is Gascony and Toulouse and Provence, which we already have basically. So obviously in the next war we're gonna feed those guys the cores. And now let's go into the south because we're gonna be attacking the Spaniards. It is time that we feed back our Spanish vassals too. Gascony has so many cores, it's crazy. And then Toulouse also has a buttload of stuff. Look at this too. I also took Auvergne because taking Quercy is cheaper than taking, say for example, Toulouse, which is 15 development. So I just did a little bit of a snake here. And also Auvergne is a mountain fort that's going to make it easier for me to win the war against the French because they do not have this mountain fort in the next war. Naples is also getting integrated, so I'm not going to be coring all of these things here. I'm going to wait until they get integrated, and then I'm going to release Naples and again feed them back all the cores they have, including in the south in Sicily here. And that, kids, is exactly how you avoid aggressive expansion like the plague. Surprisingly, Pontevedra is the highest development province from all the cores. I don't know why, but the AI decided to develop like crazy that one province in Galicia. Hey, we also managed to do control over Pronoia, so we have 3 options. And obviously, we're going to go for the first option, meaning we don't need to stress about having to lower their integration rights and everything anymore. And I think I figured out the best deal from the Spaniards. I'm going to essentially take most of the southern provinces of Iberia, not taking anything in Aragon, because I will be releasing Aragon itself to feed back all the cores from both the French and the Spaniards when the truce is over with them. So we've got 8 Pronoias. They're all inheritable. The problem is that none of them are dying, so I cannot make Toulouse, and Gascony also, as I just said that, we inherited Verona. Okay, well, first one that we're going to be doing is going to be Gascony. Boom, land a Pronoyar. Get his Liberty Desire below 15 so we can also make him inherit. Oh, wait, no, actually, he's directly a Pronoyar because of the mission that we did. Oh, that is awesome. Might be a tiny bit of aggressive expansion, but I am going to go batshit crazy on the Venetians and fully annex them. That way we can also do Belisarius' foe, and we can get a Chad Lord of a general as consequence. Oh, boys, we're getting so much development for so little aggressive expansion. I absolutely love the Pronoyas, man. I feel like the Pronoyas are by far the most overpowered stuff. Now, seeing as I've been expanding a lot into Europe and we have quite a bit of aggressive expansion, we're gonna stop going into Europe for a while and we're gonna focus again on the Arabian parts and maybe even the Persian parts so we can have uniform nice borders here and nobody to oppose us. We're gonna fix the border war in Arabia next, I guess you could say. Another one of our Pronoyars got inherited, so we can now release Naples, which means we can feed him back a buttload of cores. Look at that. That is absolutely glorious to stare at. Also, seeing as we've gotten 20 barracks now built, we can get until the end of the game maintenance reduction and land fire damage plus 10, making our units way better than they were before. Okay, we've developed Athens, so now we adopt the color of the Roman Empire, and we also will be producing dyes in Athens. Look how beautiful that is, man. I am actually in love with this color. Now truce again is over with the French, so we're going to be rinse and repeating. This time it should be a lot easier since we have way more troops than in the previous war, and the French also have a lot less troops than before. One cool thing that happened is we released Naples, and because Provence has a mission tree that allows them to either get a personal union over Naples or cores, they got cores all over Naples lands as well. So that means the entirety of the south of Italy is a core of Provence, which is a good thing because the leader of Provence is 53, so he's going to pass way earlier than the leader of Naples, which is 23. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give all these cores to my Provençal Pronoyar rather than my Neapolitan one. Wait a second, the French have colonies in Florida. Oh, I actually haven't even checked the New World. Let's see what's happening here. So we got Spanish Argentina, Spanish Brazil, and we've got English North America mostly with a little bit of French mixed in here and there. A massive Caddo Federation that's kicking the butts of New Spain. The Zuni Federation, the Creek have unified. I think I can call this a complete victory over France. So we're going to take Valois because we can release Orleans afterwards, and Orleans actually has 120 development in like 4 provinces, and that's insane. And I'm also going to take La Bourde because I want to have a connection to the Aragonese lands we're going to get in the next war, as well as Forêt because again I want to have a connection to the northern provinces of France that I own directly, not have to rely on military access from Savoy. It is a little bit of coalition this time, but I'll be totally honest, I do not give a shit about coalitions anymore. I've got 300,000 soldiers and I can get 200,000 more if I need. I can literally fight the entire world if I have to at this point. Oh, look at that, Austria integrated Bohemia. So it's now 1599. We're about to go into the 17th century and we've got most of the Roman Empire borders already. Thanks to the Pronoias, we've integrated almost all the Pronoias we had about 10-15 years ago. Now we got some new guys in town, namely Aragon, which is also a Pronoia, and we've been diplomatically vassalizing a lot of one province miners like Lucca, Spoleto, Perugia, and so on. Why did we do that? Well, because these one province miners actually have like 28 to 30 something development, so it really is us bypassing a buttload of aggressive expansion by doing this, and they're gonna get integrated any moment now. Well, some of them earlier than others. Let's see the age of this dude, 62. Hopefully he passes along in the next few years, and then we have all of Aragon. I would like to get the rest of the provinces from the French though, because Aragon does have claims, or better yet cores, on all of the French possessions in the Iberian Peninsula. If we take a look at the aggressive expansion map mode, there genuinely is not too much aggressive expansion, simply because we've been reconquering cores of our pronoyers. We really haven't actually directly taken too much lands. I think we took Cantabria and Vizcaya, and that was pretty much it in the last few years, as far as I can remember at least. Now we've canceled the alliance with the Austrians, and we're going to be canceling the one with the British at some point, because we do need to take London and York from them, if I'm not mistaken. And it's crazy how I've basically just been releasing nations from, say, Brittany, and then diplo-vassalizing and turning them into pronoyer like we did with the Dutch. And we're going to do the same with Flanders when the truce is over with Brittany again. It's just so OP, the pronoyer system. It's like the easiest way to expand in this game by far. But of course, our goal is not going to be to take over the rest of the world. We're just taking the Roman Empire borders. Once that's done, we're basically playing tall, and we're going to try and convert everything to our Roman culture. Right now, that's Greek. But whenever we form the Roman Empire, all of our primary cultures become Roman. It's also time for me to make some trade companies. I should have done this a while back. I mean, I might as well just do it now. I'm going to assign every province in the Tunis node to the trade company. I'm going to do the same for the Moroccan node here. Basically assign every single province here to the trade company, because every province is already Orthodox, so I'm not really worried about having to convert these provinces. Remember that when you add a province to your trade company, you're not going to be able to convert it to your religion anymore, so you want to do that beforehand. Thinking about this, and I believe it's probably a good idea to make another trade company from the Alexandrian node and another one from Basra, because I'm not going to make any of these areas full states anyway. I'm also going to destroy the tax development in provinces which are not already my primary culture, to make it a little bit cheaper to convert these provinces to Greek after. Alright boys, it's time to give back what's rightfully Aragonese, and that means we don't need to worry about integrating Aragon. Monsieur Boumbali, who's 68 by the way, please pass away right now. Next month, do it! Do it! He's not doing it. He's not going to pass away for another 10 years, is he now? That also means we can do more missions, which means we get until the end of the Ancient Reformation War Score versus other religions. That's basically another 49 months. It's not a very long time. Goes to show I didn't really push as hard for expansion as I should have in this run, did I? Oh, if you thought that's bad, by the way, this guy is 71 years old and he's still not dead, so it could be worse than 68, trust me. I actually had a 77 years old, the dude in charge of Leon. He passed away very, very late. Hey, finally we've inherited Aragonskis, so now we can replace them with the Flanders here. Flanders is going to be the next pronoyer. City of Rome is once more ours. In fact, the entirety of the Italian peninsula is now ours, so we got to turn our attention to other lands we need to reclaim. Also, I just realized we do not need York and London anymore. We just need 425 provinces within the historical Roman Empire border, so we don't need to cancel the alliance with the British. Actually, we're good with that. So now, skipping over a few decades, we have properly centralized the Roman Empire. We're also known as the Eastern Roman Empire because we finished off this mission here, Justinian's Ambition, which changes the name, doesn't really do much of anything else. I mean, we also do get increased chance of conqueror trait and a permanent 5 power projection, which does help, but overall it's just an aesthetic sort of change mostly. In order to form the Roman Empire, we just need to take a few more provinces from the Germans, which is why I'm getting ready. My units are by the border here, so we're going to be attacking the Austrians, pretty much taking half their country, and then a second war against the Swiss to take all of their provinces. Should be enough for us to restore Rome without having to cancel the alliance with the British. Now we do still have the HRE around, so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be dismantling the HRE in the same war, where I take a massive chunk out of the Austrians, simply because we don't want to have a heretical nation that claims to be the Roman Empire around now, do we? Culture wise, we've also massively doubled down on Greek culture, so we've got most of the Middle East, North Africa, Balkans, Anatolia, and we have started making significant cultural movement around the western parts of Europe. We are right now in the process of converting a lot more provinces. We got to be careful with this though, because the second that we click the form the Roman Empire, any province that is not finished doing the conversion will end up becoming a Greek province, not a Roman province, when the conversion is over. So we got to time it properly, click the Roman restoration the same moment that none of our culture conversions are still undergoing, then from a income perspective, we got about 600 total income, so we're doing pretty good with that. We probably could have spent a little bit more on fortification because we don't really have that many, and army wise we also could likely afford another army. I actually just got this army from Brabant, which we just integrated, so we can change it and make it into our standard army. We got 24, 4, and 16 as the standard. Whenever a battle occurs, we merge two armies into one big stack. It's a little bit of an overkill on the cavalry, I'm aware, but it's okay because one major stack has the 32 combat width for the back row and more than 32 for the front row to properly win any single engagement we might have. I'm sorry, what? We formed a union over Portugal and Russia declared war on us for War of the Portuguese Succession. What? Brother, I was ally. Russia was my biggest ally. Why does this happen to me now? I don't want to fight the Russians, man. Holy shit. Okay, and does Portugal even have anything worth it? Like, what is this crap? Where is Portugal? Portugal's in freaking South Africa, man, and they hate my guts. They have 256 aggressive expansion with me. Ugh. Is this war even worth it, though? I mean, to be fair, we do have Caraibas, basically all of the Caribbean. Most of Canada is our subjects, technically, because they are the subjects, the colonial nations of Portugal. So we would be getting 4 separate colonial nations. Nah, screw it. Might as well fight it off. I mean, I guess, why not? I had my armies ready here for the war with the Austrians, but I guess we have to make a little bit of a change, don't we? This also goes to show that I need to update my forts. I basically have level 2 fortifications everywhere. I need to make sure I have level 6 fortifications. For example, one fort here in Historia prevents anybody from coming into the rest of the Greek lands. I'm going to delete the one in Corinth because it's useless. Get a few new fortifications in vital positions. Delete some of the old obsolete ones. Oh wait, actually Persia joins on this war because it's a defensive war for me, so I get to have the help of the Persians and the British against the Russians. I guess since the Russians are guaranteeing the Crimeans and we're at war with the Russians, we could take advantage of that and just wipe the Crimeans off the face of the planet. They are just a very annoying little bleep that still exists here for some reason. I love how easy it is to win the wars against the Russians in this game, especially in the late game when they barely have any fortifications, and I've noticed the AI for Russia doesn't really upgrade their fortifications as much as the Europeans do either, so it really is extremely easy to get the war score since you just gotta go for a couple of the fortifications here and there, right? So now we got 42 war score without even fighting any major battles, which means we can already grab some lands from them. Heck, I'm even gonna take Katerinoslav, so I have prettier borders and a little bit of money. By a little, I mean 3,000. Holy schnitzel. There you go. The easiest war in the world. Now we can actually focus on what matters, which is the Austrians. So we basically have to fight the entirety of the HRE in order to dismantle it. Let's see how many nations is that. No, it's not the entirety of the HRE, but it's definitely a sizable amount. The good part about this is that I will literally make every single one of these nations Orthodox by the end of this war. So we're going to increase the rank of our religion defender the faith as well, which is a double whammy, really. All right, boys, I think that is the last of the cities of the HRE electors. So now we can dismantle the HRE. About time. Honestly, about time. Should have done this like 200 years ago. Not even joking. Should have done this in the 1400s if you really think about it. But hey, now that that's done, we can just peace out everybody. We have been making a lot of Orthodox nations. Check it out. Half of the HRE is already, former HRE is already Orthodox, and the rest of the nations that we're at war with will also become Orthodox now. So let's start it off with the mines. Beautiful little mines. I'm also canceling the alliances they have, so that way they're more prone to attacking each other, and then we just get rid of a lot of annoying one province miners that hate our guts. Okay, boys, it's time to get everything we want. Just a tiny little bit of a coalition, nothing to worry about. We apparently have double the casualties compared to them. Holy schnitzel. They did have better units, but we just threw more bodies at them by comparison. We also checked the religious map mode. Significantly more Orthodox nations now, but we still have a little bit of work to do, though. There's a lot of Protestants in the HRE still. The good part about dismantling the HRE, however, is that now we're gonna have pretty much all the former HRE nations more than willing to accept our vassalization requests. So only thing that's gonna stop us from diplo-vassalizing them is gonna be the relations, which not all of them hate us. So for example, we could technically do a diplo-vassalization of Bayreuth. I'm also gonna make use of our Deus Vult CB since we finished religious ideas, and we're gonna be attacking the Swiss with that one, as well as Lorraine, both of which have our rightful claims. Alright, boys, we just got 30 development in the 5 holy cities of the Pentarchy, which means that we can do 2 very unique missions missions to the Byzantines. Restore the Pentarchy, which will heal the wounds by disabling the Catholic mechanics. So if you're a Catholic in my game, you don't have the Catholic papacy mechanics anymore, which is just crazy. And we get some more bonuses as well. And now we can also mend the schism. What does this do? Well, every Catholic nation will be choosing to become an Orthodox nation as long as they don't have bad relations with us. Fortunately, there's not many Catholic nations left around right now, and the ones that are left around, they hate our guts. So mend the schism is great, but okay, so my bad. We do have the Lithuanians that chose to become Orthodox. At least one nation chose to embrace Orthodoxy out of the 3 remaining Catholics, because I'm pretty sure there's 3 of them. Thing is, we could do this by not expanding too much, so we could just grab the holy cities, which are mostly in the east, and the city of Rome, right? These cities here. And then afterwards, we can mend the schism, which would make all of Western Europe Orthodox, and then we can push into Western Europe. That could be a thing as well, right? Also, in case you're wondering, I've got way too much money. I don't know what to do with it. At this point, I'm just like building randomly. Don't really care about it too much. Manpower, we got 670,000, so we are more than okay with manpower too. I don't even need to build any more buildings. I'm just spamming because I gotta do something with the money, really. We also can now fully restore the Roman Empire. We just need to wait for one more day so we can do the peace deal with the Regensburg, and that means we now have all the amount of provinces that we need to click yes Maximus this button. We also can hold an ecumenical council though before that, so we can go for 1 stability. I guess that's not a bad idea. All right, so it's done. We can now click yes Maximus, Restoricus, Roman Empirus, Boom Shakalaka Dons, and yes please new traditions and ambitions. The problem with this is that we're not going to be able to form client states until we have the technology, which is a little bit of a downside, but we can still use the Pronoyer system as the Romans. So check it out: 6,000 development, Roman Empire, Roman ideas, which include core creation cost reduction, admin efficiency +5, production efficiency, infantry combat ability, and the new and improved Roman Empire tier 1 government reform that not only allows Pronoyers but also gives us culture conversion cost -25%. So now remember what I said earlier, whichever provinces are not finished converting will convert to Greek. That means we have to cancel all of these bad boys, and we're going to have to restart the process. Now it is extremely cheap to convert because of all the various modifiers that you can see underlined here, so we're not going to have any issues with converting our provinces just yet. That also means we can do the Basilea Romaion, which means until the end of the game we get a lot more bonuses, including 10 more permanent power projection. And if we go to our modifiers, the true Roman Empire modifier gives a huge amount of bonuses until the end of the game. Looking at the rest of the world, it's a fairly interesting campaign for sure. We got massive Persia over here, which is our ally, by the way. So we broke away from traditional Persian Roman history right there. Shun and Wu are basically dividing China. We've got Vijayanagar owning most of India. The south of America is at war continuously, like it's the Spanish colonies versus the English colonies. We do have a very unique nation here though. The United Central American nation used to be Britannia, and they had a few provinces that broke away in the New World once I conquered all the Bretonian lands in Europe. So this is the surviving Breton nation in the New World, the United Central Americans. That's pretty funny to me to see. We also have, of course, a lot of colonial nations, including the French dominate North America, which is unusual for most games. So I also want to do something different here. I want to show the timeline up until now. We started as a little bit of a Byzantium, conquered the Ottomans in 4 years, crushed them, started fast expanding in North Africa, fast expanding in Anatolia. Then we had a bit of a slump where we consolidated our hold in North Africa, Anatolia, and the Balkans, and we kind of slowed down with the expansion in Western Europe. We should have really just expanded a little bit faster within Western Europe, because that would have helped us form the Roman Empire a lot earlier than we did it in our particular campaign. And I also should have pushed into the HRE, dismantled the HRE. I should have done early in the campaign as well, which would have made it a lot easier for me to form the Roman Empire afterwards. So another issue I have to mention is late game, every province has insane amount of development. So this kind of was a bit of a bottleneck. Look at this: 35, 38, 30, 34, 34, 39. The point is that almost all the HRE provinces have ridiculous amount of development. But hey, we did it. We got the Roman Empire, boys. So I'm gonna finish it here. fair, we're not going all the way to 1821 because I'm only going to stay with these borders regardless, and the goal was to restore the Roman Empire as the Byzantines, which we accomplished. It was fun, and this was, by all intents and purposes, my last EU4 campaign as Byzantium, since EU5 is coming out whenever it's coming out, right? Soonish. I might come back to Byzantium before or after EU5 is released though in EU4, because I have to say this is by far one of my favorite nations in the game, and it breaks my heart that I have to finish this campaign. I'm not gonna lie. I might just continue it on stream on Twitch or something to go all the way to 1821, but we would just be playing tall. Whatever the case, that's it. Love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.